No. It is my honor to welcome you all to today's panel discussion on scaling organic agriculture to tap opportunities. We will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience.
NABARD was established as per a Parliament Act in 1981, and then on July 12th of 1982, NABARD came into existence by transferring the agricultural and rural development functions of Reserve Bank of India. Apart from that, the supervisory functions of rural financial institutions, that is cooperative banks and also regional rural banks, are being undertaken by NABARD. So if you see the NABARD's function, it is primarily aimed at overall development of agriculture sector as well as rural sector, and within that we have three main activities. One is the refinance function, where we ensure that there is sufficient liquidity available for the rural financial institutions to lend to the needy people in the rural areas. The second function is the supervision of rural financial institution, and the third function is to develop the sector, to enable the players in the sector, including the rural people, to access finance for their overall development.
हमारा देश भारत अपने आर्थिक तरक्की की महत्वाकांक्षा के साथ और अपनी युवा ऊर्जा द्वारा संचालित होकर दिन ब दिन आगे बढ़ रहा है, और नए भारत के इस अभूतपूर्व विकास के पीछे ग्रामीण भारत का योगदान है। ग्रामीण भारत का विकास वास्तव में विशेषज्ञ विकास संस्थानों द्वारा संचालित है। राष्ट्रीय कृषि और ग्रामीण विकास बैंक देश की विकास गाथा में ऐसे विशेषज्ञ संस्थानों का एक उत्कृष्ट उदाहरण है। आइए हम आपको ग्रामीण भारत के क्षितिज पर नाबार्ड की यात्रा कराएं, जिसकी झोली में कई उपलब्धियां शामिल हैं। ग्रामीण भारत की विकासपरक आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करने के लिए भारत की सर्वोच्च विकास संस्था के रूप में 12 जुलाई 1982 को नाबार्ड की स्थापना की गई थी। इसे ग्रामीण ऋण रूरल क्रेडिट के लिए एक पुनर्वित्त रीफाइनेंस
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. With great pleasure, I welcome you all to today's panel discussion on scaling organic agriculture to tap opportunities. As the world confronts challenges posed by climate change, environmental degradation, and growing food insecurity, organic agriculture presents a promising path forward. The global shift towards sustainability in food production emphasizes the need for methods that are environmentally friendly, socially responsible, and economically viable. Organic farming stands out by promoting biodiversity, reducing carbon footprint, and improving soil health. Yet, to fully harness the potential of organic agriculture, it is crucial to scale these practices and build robust systems. हमारे लिए ये सौभाग्य की बात है कि आज हमारे साथ एक उत्कृष्ट पैनल मौजूद है जिनमें से प्रत्येक अपने क्षेत्र के विशेषज्ञ हैं. Without further ado, let me invite them to the stage. First, I am honored to invite our keynote speaker, Shri Faiz Ahmed Kidwai, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, to the stage. आइए जोरदार तालियों के साथ इनका मंच पर स्वागत करें. Next, I would like to invite Dr. G.V. Ramanjaneyulu, Executive Director of the Center for Sustainable Agriculture, to the stage. Let's hear it for him with a hearty round of applause. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Saswati Bose, General Manager at Agriculture and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority. Kindly put your hands together to welcome Dr. Bose. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Prashant Naikwadi, National President of Residue Free and Organic Mission India Federation. आइए तालियों की गूंज के साथ इनका मंच पर स्वागत करें. I now invite Shri Mohan Murari Singh, founder of Farmerface Organic Technologies Research Institute. Let us all welcome him with a big round of applause. Let me now call upon stage our distinguished moderator for the day, Dr. A.V. Bhavani Shankar. कृपया ताली बजाकर इनका जोरदार अभिनंदन करें. Holding a PhD in horticulture from the Indian Agriculture Research Institute, Dr. Shankar has served NABARD for 28 years in various capacities, gaining immense expertise in rural development and institutional leadership. Dr. Shankar currently heads the Farm Sector Development Department in NABARD, where he leads innovative strategies for sustainable agriculture and rural growth. I now invite Dr. Shankar to take over and moderate the session.
Very learned panel members on the dais, the distinguished audience, a very good morning to all of you. Welcome to all of you for this Gramin Bharat Mahotsav and the panel discussions. I'll just take 2 minutes. Why we have chosen this theme of organic farming as one of the themes for this Gramin Bharat Mahotsav and also the panel discussion. The context for this is the present state of Indian agriculture. At the macro level, we are self-sufficient. Opportunities are growing with diversification in agriculture that is happening. And at the same time, Indian agriculture is also confronted with many challenges. Just a few statistics on that. We have near 30% of land in various stages of degradation. This is a challenge. The soil organ content has come down to 0.3%. This is even more challenging. The fertilizer subsidy is at a high of 2.25 lakh crores. And all this is because of unsustainable farming practices which are leading to various crises. And the crisis is more so because we have nearly 86% of small and marginal farmers. And at the same time, the policy response from government is very, very encouraging. Many programs have been launched. National Program on Organic Promotion, the National Mission on Natural Farming, the Soil Health Card schemes, and so forth. Our learned speakers would be talking about that. So this is the context, and while challenges, there are solutions. The panel would be talking about how these solutions we can operationalize, and we tried to bring into the panel discussion a mix of experiences at the policy level and as well as some voices from the ground. So this is it. The construct of this panel discussion would be about 12 to 14 minutes of talk by each of the panelists. Before that, we will have a keynote address by Faiz, our Additional Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture. And then, depending on the time, we take some questions at the beginning itself, after the talk, or we reserve them towards the end. This is going to be the structure. We'll try to wind it up in about 90 to 100 minutes, this panel discussion. So without taking any of your time, I would request Faiz Ahmed Kidwai ji, the present Additional Secretary in Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. He has just now been transferred. He is going to civil aviation. Sir, congratulations and best wishes. He has, despite he moving out, he immediately agreed for joining this session. And for record, he is a MP cadre IAS officer, but more importantly, he's the feel-good factor in Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. He has taken several programs, of course, but my recent interaction, he is instrumental to the national FPO policy, per drop per crop program, and several other things. So, sir, we are honored to have you here. So, I request you to take the stage. Thank you.
Dr. Bhavani Shankar, distinguished panelists, media friends, ladies and gentlemen, and all those who are here on this cold morning. I'm sure you all have organic agriculture in your heart. As far as my transfer is concerned, so the best compliment I got was Zameen se Asman tak. So right now you are on the ground and now you will be in the skies. It's very important scaling organic agriculture practice to tap growth opportunities. I'll just give you an overview of the sector. India ranks first in terms of organic producers with almost 2.5 million or 24 lakh organic farmers as per our data in 23-24. We have the second highest area under organic cultivation in the world. And as on 31st March 24, total area under NPOP was about 7.3 million hectares, including cultivable and wild areas. And the central belt of India, which is Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Odisha, are the leading states. We produce around 3.6 million metric tons of certified organic products, which includes all varieties of food products, namely oilseeds, fiber, sugarcane, cereals. And the total volume of export during 23-24 was about 261,000 metric tons, which valued at more than 4,000 crores. And mainly we are exporting to USA, European countries, the EU, Canada, Great Britain, etc. Despite these achievements, there are several challenges which the sector faces right now, and which really need to be addressed to fully realize the potential in scaling up organic farming. NPOP certification is one here. Our friend from APIDA is here. She will be talking about it. It is a bit expensive. It is time consuming, especially for small and marginal farmers. Then the other challenge obviously is because of our small land holdings, many farmers lack adequate training in organic farming techniques, including soil health management, crop rotation and pest control, which limits their ability to adopt these practices. As I said, prevalence of small and challenge for implementing large-scale organic practices and achieving economies of scale. That is why we are not actually able to do things on a big scale. Then sourcing of inputs, organic seeds, biofertilizers, eco-friendly and organic pest control solutions is another challenge, particularly in the remote areas like in the northeastern region. And then markets. Organic farmers often face difficulties accessing stable markets, coupled with a lack of robust supply chains and infrastructure. Then also post-harvest handling. Organic produce requires specialized post-harvest handling, processing and storage to maintain quality. And such infrastructure, unfortunately, is not available across the country. And lastly, I think consumer awareness is one major challenge which we face. Our consumers still do not know what exactly an organic produce means, what certification it requires, etc. These are things which I think we need to take up. Having said that, there are a lot of opportunities in the sector. Organic farming not only promotes biodiversity, soil fertility and soil conservation, it plays a significant role in mitigating climate change, as Dr. Shankar also said, by sequestering carbon in the soil and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, which are associated with chemical usage, especially fertilizers. It also provides sustainable livelihoods for farmers, especially for smallholders, by providing premium prices for organic produce. And there is a growing demand in the domestic and international markets for organic products. So the scaling up these practices can help India tap into this market. As we all know, organic or natural is the future, not only in India but globally. Two key programs and a third program which has been launched recently promote organic farming. These are from the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. One is MOVCDNER, which is Mission Organic Value Chain Development in Northeastern Regions. This is for the 8 northeastern states with NPOP certification. And the other major program is the PKVY, which is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, which is for all other states except NER with PGS certification. As of now, 247 organic FPOs have been formed under the 10,000 FPO scheme, whose farmers are benefiting from this PKVY scheme. Under this scheme in the Northeast, MOVCDNER, it has entered phase 4 in 24-25. After completing 3 phases, new phase targets to cover about 50,000 hectares and 100 new FPOs. Till date, about more than 1,200 crores have been released under this program for promoting the organic value chain development, and it has benefited about 2.15 lakh farmers through more than 400 FPOs. Farmers receive organic quality planting materials under the scheme, along with assistance for on-farm and off-farm inputs, capacity building, trainings on organic packages of practices, composting, preparation of on-farm inputs, etc. provided to the farmers. And FPOs are supported to participate in regional, domestic and international events like buyer-seller meets, exhibitions, conferences, etc. for promoting their organic products, and also exposure visits are undertaken. Under the PKVY program, I am happy to inform you that Till date, more than 8 lakh hectares have been covered in the country with the formation of about more than 56,000 farmers clusters. More than 16 lakh farmers have been mobilized. Under this scheme, financial assistance of rupees 31,500 per hectare for 3 years, of which rupees 15,000 per hectare for 3 years is provided directly to farmers through DBT for on-farm and off-farm organic inputs. Scheme also supports training and capacity building of the farmers and financial support for on-farm inputs production. Scheme helps with PGS certification. Till date, about 1.08 million hectares has been covered under PGS certification. Another significant program under PKVY was the Namami Gange program in the 4 states which border the Holy Ganges. They transformed about 1.91 lakh hectares into organic farming, which protects the river also. And till date, about 1800 crores have been released under this program. Recently, the National Mission on Natural Farming has been launched by Government of India. We got the cabinet approval on 25th November. It has an outlay of almost 2500 crores. The target under this program is about 1 crore, which is 10 million farmers, and covering an area of about 7.5 lakh hectares. The program will promote chemical-free farming using milch animals, primarily indigenous cattle breed. The trainings will be undertaken through the Krishi Vigyan Kendras, the central and state agriculture universities, and they will be making 2,000 model farms, and the extension workers will carry this to the farmers, the Atma workers, the Krishi Sakhis, and the the farmers who practice natural farming. They will be taken on board to disseminate trainings and to spread the natural farming practices. There will be a support annually of about 18.5 lakh farmers who will be trained, and they will be given about 4,000 rupees per acre on output basis for 2 years. And in this program, 10,000 bio input centers will be established across the country to supply inputs for natural farming. And there is also, under this program itself, they'll be creating a national brand for natural farming products to approach the markets. Apart from these, there have been other initiatives also taken by the department, like setting up of biofertilizer production units at farm levels, which encourage green manure. Then under the Govardhan Yojana, helping rural areas by turning rural waste into useful resources, thereby reducing pollution, improving health and encouraging organic farming. During the last financial year, about 23-24, 198 plants have been set up, which includes 12 compressed biogas CBG plants and 186 biogas plants. Almost 56 plants are under construction stage in the country. Apart from this, there are other, the Indian Institute of Forest Research also is conducting various research projects on sustainable farming practices, focusing on improving soil health, and also the Soil Research Institute of ICAR is developing a package of practices for diverse agroclimatic conditions. It is interesting that a study by ICAR in the Himalayan region found that organic farming improved soil quality with 18.2% more nitrogen and significantly higher soil carbon biomass. In the marketing sector, domestic organic market is estimated to be of rupees 16,800 crores, which are APIDA figures, which is close to about 1.2% of the Indian FMCG market. BioFac India is a dedicated event for promotion of organic products, with other such events as World Food India, Indus Food, etc., which have sections for organic products. Even the e-commerce platforms like Big Basket, Blinkit, Zepto have dedicated organic sections for non-perishable products and often promote organic fruit and vegetables. and major players in the market have entered into organic segment. I think recently there was a full page ad by Amul, Amul Organic, Tata, ITC, NOCL, etc. have taken up organic. It is good that these big retail chains are coming, which will help our farmers. Even FPOs, they have a major role in enhancing organic agriculture produce. So I would, in the end, congratulate the organizers for this event. And I'm sure, as I said, organic is the future. We need to get our act together, and we need to produce not only for India, but for the world. Thank you.
Thanks for giving an outline of the various initiatives of Government of India, and very interestingly you talked about the branding. I think all the speakers would be interested to do, and in fact the audience would be looking that. And branding not only for organic products, but even natural farming products is also something which is very interesting to know about. To begin the panel discussion, we have Dr. Prashant Naikwadi. He is a super specialist, I should say. His specialization, he has done a PhD in organic farming certification. And more importantly, he's a prolific writer. And when I was going through his profile, I noticed 20 awards he had received on this subject. In fact, he is an advisor to, he is a faculty support and advisor to many of the agriculture universities. So let's welcome him with a big hand. Dr. Naikwadi, over to you.
मैं मंच पर उपस्थित सभी महानुभावों को मैं प्रणाम करता हूँ। आज मैं आपके सामने जो टॉपिक बोलने जा रहा हूँ वो है प्रमोटिंग ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग, एस्टेब्लिशिंग सर्टिफिकेशन स्टैंडर्ड एंड कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग। अगर हमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा किसान भाइयों तक ये ऑर्गेनिक प्रोग्राम लेकर जाना है तो हमें सबसे पहले अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है। जब तक अवेयरनेस आता नहीं, अभी ये मिशन काफ़ी आगे चल रहा है, लेकिन अगर हम ग्रास रूट लेवल पे जाए तो अवेयरनेस की बहुत कमतरता है। और लिटरेचर जो है वो इंग्लिश में है, वो हिंदी में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आना चाहिए। और नेटिव लैंग्वेज जो है, क्योंकि किसान भाई जो है वो सब नेटिव लैंग्वेज ज़्यादा जानते हैं, तो वो नेटिव लैंग्वेज पे होना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है। इसमें अगर हमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा किसान भाइयों तक ये प्रोग्राम लेके जाना है तो सबसे पहले उनको हमें अवेयर करना है कि ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग क्या है, ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग में क्या करना चाहिए। अभी हमारे पास जो विश्वासार्हता है इस प्रोग्राम की, उसमें नेशनल प्रोग्राम फॉर ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्शन है, जो जिन किसान भाइयों को एक्सपोर्ट करना है उनके लिए नेशनल प्रोग्राम फॉर ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्शन है। और डोमेस्टिक मार्केट के लिए अभी हमारे पास PGS है, पार्टिसिपेटरी गारंटी सिस्टम। तो ये दोनों प्रोग्राम जो है, ये दोनों प्रोग्राम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा किसान भाइयों तक लेके जाना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि जब तक हम सर्टिफिकेशन करते नहीं तब तक ये जो हमारा उत्पाद है उसको मार्केट एक्सेस मिलेगा नहीं। और इसमें सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट बात है, अगर हम ऑर्गेनिक खेती की बात करेंगे तो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट बात यह है कि ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन जो है, अभी अब मान के चलो कि भारत देश में ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन की कमतरता है। ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन का जो रेंज होता है वो 0.1 से लेकर 5 तक होता है, लेकिन हमारे इंडिया में अगर हम देखा जाए तो एवरेज ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन जो है वो 0.2 से लेकर 0.6 इतना कम है। तो जो अपनी मिट्टी है उसमें उपजाऊ क्षमता जो है वो बहुत कम होती जा रही है। अगर ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन हम बढ़ाने में सफल होते हैं तो कैटायन एक्सचेंज कैपेसिटी जो है, अन्न तत्वों की जो पोषकता है वो पौधे को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम दे सकते हैं। लेकिन ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन कम होने के कारण हमारे यहाँ कैटायन एक्सचेंज कैपेसिटी कम है। कैटायन एक्सचेंज कैपेसिटी कम होने के कारण सॉइल का पीएच जो है वो अल्कलाइन होता जा रहा है, और हम जितने रासायनिक इनपुट्स इसमें डाल रहे हैं उससे उसकी वजह से सॉइल जो है वो साल्टी बनती जा रही है, क्षारों का प्रमाण बढ़ रहा है। तो कैटायन एक्सचेंज कैपेसिटी बढ़ने के लिए ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन का होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन सॉइल के स्ट्रक्चर को इम्प्रूव करता है। दूसरी बात, न्यूट्रिएंट साइकिलिंग उसमें हो जाती है। तीसरा, कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन होता है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है। जो लीचिंग और इरोजन लॉसेस होते हैं न्यूट्रिएंट के, वो बहुत कम करता है। तीसरी इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि ग्रीन हाउस गैस जो इमिशन होता है उसमें भी सॉइल ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन जो है वो रेगुलेट करता है और एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्टिविटी को ये बढ़ाता है। मैं एक बात यहाँ सेक्रेटरी सर है उनसे कहना चाहता हूँ कि अभी हम कार्बन क्रेडिट दे रहे हैं, जो किसान भाई पेड़ लगा रहे हैं उनको कार्बन क्रेडिट दे रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं आपसे ये गुजारिश करना चाहता हूँ कि जिन किसान भाइयों का सॉइल ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन ज़्यादा है उनको कार्बन क्रेडिट की फैसिलिटी अगर हम देने लगेंगे तो मेरे ख्याल से इसका बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिट जो है वो किसानों को हो जाएगा और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा किसान जो है वो ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग प्रैक्टिसेस शुरू करेंगे। तो कार्बन क्रेडिट जो है वो सॉइल कार्बन बढ़ाने के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और दूसरी बात है कि कार्बन इमिशन कम करने में भी सॉइल कार्बन जो है उसका बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा है। ये अगर हमें और आगे जाकर किसान भाइयों को ये सब ये मिशन में अगर लाना है तो जो नेशनल प्रोग्राम फॉर ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्शन उसके जो स्टैंडर्ड है वो स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से हमें पेनेट्रेट करना होगा। जैसे कि लैंडस्केप कैसे मेंटेन हो कि आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आपका जो खेत है वो कम से कम ओवर मैन्यूरिंग होना चाहिए, आपको बॉर्डर क्रॉप लगानी चाहिए, आपको सॉइल एंड वाटर कंजर्वेशन वहाँ प्रॉपर करना चाहिए। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जो मित्र कीटक है उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन उनको देनी चाहिए, क्योंकि बहुत सा कम जो खर्चा है इनपुट के ऊपर वो बहुत कम हो जाता है अगर मित्र कीटक हमारे खेत में आते हैं। तो लैंडस्केप जो है, लैंडस्केप मैनेजमेंट इसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। दूसरा, चॉइस ऑफ क्रॉप्स एंड वैरायटीज़ है। अभी अगर हमें ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग करनी है तो हमारा जो सीड्स है वो सीड्स हमें हमें सर्टिफाइड ऑर्गेनिक मिलना चाहिए। अगर वो सीड्स हमें सर्टिफाइड ऑर्गेनिक नहीं मिलता है तो हम ट्रेडिशनल जो सीड्स है उसका यूज़ कर सकते हैं। अगर हमें ट्रेडिशनल भी नहीं मिले तो कन्वेंशनल जो सीड्स है उसके ऊपर कोई भी केमिकल ट्रीटमेंट न करते हुए अगर हम ऑर्गेनिक ट्रीटमेंट करते हैं तो वो सीड्स हम प्रेफर कर सकते हैं। जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड ऑर्गेनिज्म इसमें प्रोहिबिटेड है। इसमें डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन जो है वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। हम मोनोक्रॉपिंग के बजाय अगर हम डाइवर्सिटी में क्रॉप लगाते हैं तो उसका बहुत फ़ायदा जो है वो किसान भाई को मिलता है। अगर ये मान के चलो कि आप इंटर क्रॉपिंग कर रहे हो, मिक्स क्रॉपिंग कर रहे हो, रिले क्रॉपिंग कर रहे हो और उसमें आप लेगूम क्रॉप्स लगा रहे हो, डीप रूटेड क्रॉप्स लगा रहे हो या फिर ग्रीन मैन्यूर क्रॉप्स लगा रहे हो तो उसमें काफ़ी सारा फायदा मिलता है। जैसे आपका कपास का अगर खेत है और 4 रो अपने कपास के लगा दिए, 4 रो के बाद में अपने 2 रो अगर आपने काउपी के लगा दिए, चौली के लगा दिए, तो चौली के ऊपर क्या होता है, क्राइसोपा कार्निया आता है जो थ्रिप्स के 800 से लेकर 850 अंडे खा जाता है। तो एक तरीके का पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट बहुत अच्छा होता है। दूसरे, अगर लेग्यूम्स क्रॉप्स है तो राइजोबियम की वजह से नाइट्रोजन फिक्स होता है। तीसरा, अगर क्रॉप इंडिकेटर्स है जैसे सनफ्लावर है, गेंदा है, ये अगर हम लगाते हैं तो हमें पानी का जो ट्रेस है वो पता चलता है, वाटर एब्जॉर्ब कैपेसिटी हमें पता चलती है और वापसा कंडीशन जो पानी देने के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, वो वापसा कंडीशन कैसे आइडेंटिफिकेशन कर ले ये इसके वजह से पता हमें चलता है। इसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट यह है कि जो अम्बेलीफेरी नाम का जो वर्ग है क्रॉप्स का, उसमें अगर हम इंटर क्रॉपिंग या फिर रिले क्रॉपिंग या मिस क्रॉपिंग को लगाते हैं तो काफ़ी सारे मित्र कीटक जो है वो हमारे खेत के ऊपर आ जाते हैं। तो डाइवर्सिटी इन क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट फॉर एनपीओपी। न्यूट्रिएंट मैनेजमेंट में हमें जितने भी बायोडिग्रेडेबल मैटर है जैसे कि माइक्रोबियल है, प्लांट्स है या फिर एनिमल से बनाए हुए बायो फर्टिलाइजर है, उनका हमें यूज़ करना है। मिनरल फर्टिलाइजर उसके जो ओरिजिनल फॉर्म है उसका यूज़ हमें करना है। ओरिजिनल फॉर्म में जैसे सल्फर आता है, रॉक फॉस्फेट आता है, पोटेशियम ह्यूमेट आता है। और अगर हमें अत्याधुनिक टेक्निक के इनपुट्स इस्तेमाल करने हैं जैसे बायो फर्टिलाइजर है, तो नेशनल प्रोग्राम फॉर ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्शन ने अटेस्टेड किए हुए किसी भी इनपुट का हम इस्तेमाल इसमें कर सकते हैं। सेम पेस्ट डिसीज एंड वीड मैनेजमेंट में है, हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा प्रोडक्ट्स एक तो माइक्रोबियल के यूज़ कर सकते हैं, दूसरे प्लांट से बनाए गए या फिर एनिमल से बनाए गए, जैसे केचुआ खाते हैं, कंपोस्ट है, या फिर हम अलग अलग टाइप्स की जो स्लरी बनाते हैं। इसमें थर्मिक वीड कंट्रोल हमें करना है। कोई भी चीज़ हमें फार्म में जलानी नहीं है। अगर कोई चीज़ हम बर्न करते हैं फार्म में, तो इससे क्या होता है कि मोस्टली तो जो ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन है, जो ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन बढ़ाने में हमें 3-3 साल लगते हैं, वो ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन विद इन सेकंड में जल जाता है। तो ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन के लिए ये बहुत ही बर्निंग करना कोई भी चीज़ ये नहीं होनी चाहिए। और सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट बात है कि आप बर्निंग करने के वजह से अगर आप कोई भी चीज़ को मिट्टी में डालते हो, उसका कंपोस्टिंग करते हो, तो उसके पोषक तत्व मिट्टी में काफ़ी सारे मिल जाते हैं। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट बात है, अगर हमें एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी के पेस्टिसाइड्स यूज़ करने हैं, बायोलॉजिकल या फिर ऑर्गेनिक, तो आप NPOP सर्टिफाइड जो इनपुट्स है उसका इस्तेमाल आप कर सकते हो। इसके बाद कंटेमिनेशन कंट्रोल आपको अगर करना है, जैसे कन्वेंशनल फार्म और ऑर्गेनिक का फार्म अगर एड जॉइनिंग है और हमें कंटेमिनेशन कंट्रोल करना है, तो हमें एक बफर जोन रखना चाहिए बीच में, उसमें बॉर्डर क्रॉप लगाना चाहिए। और जैसे कन्वेंशनल फार्म में स्प्रेइंग होता है, तो उसके ड्रिफ्ट अपने ऑर्गेनिक फार्म में आने के वजह से आने के बगैर वो बॉर्डर क्रॉप पे चले जाते हैं और हमारा जो प्रदूषक है वो प्रदूषक हमारे ऑर्गेनिक फार्म तक आते नहीं हैं। इसके बाद हम अगर कुछ प्लास्टिक यूज करना चाहते हैं ऑर्गेनिक फार्म में, तो वो पॉलीइथिलीन, पॉलीप्रोपिलीन या पॉलीकार्बोनेट बेस का होना चाहिए। पॉलीक्लोराइड जो है वो प्रोहिबिटेड है, उससे एक पॉइजनस गैस जनरेट होता है जब ऑक्सीडेशन होता है। तो पॉलीक्लोराइड जो है वो प्रोहिबिट करना है। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मल्चिंग प्रैक्टिसेस को हमें अपनाना है। इसके बाद सॉइल एंड वाटर कंजर्वेशन में हमें एक तो ड्रिप इरिगेशन यूज़ करना है या फिर हमें स्प्रिंकलर इरिगेशन यूज़ करना है। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मल्चिंग करना है। जो प्राइमरी फॉरेस्ट है उसको हमें बर्न नहीं करना है। और जितना हो सके उतना सॉइल इरोजन जो है वो विंड वेलोसिटी की वजह से होता हो या पानी की वजह से होता हो, उसको हमें कम करना है। इसमें जो स्टैंडर्ड है, रिलायबल सर्टिफिकेशन स्टैंडर्ड जो है वो NPOP का है। अगर हमें एक्सपोर्ट करना है तो हमें नेशनल प्रोग्राम फॉर ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्शन की तरफ जाना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और ये जो नेशनल प्रोग्राम फॉर ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्शन है ये अप्रैल 2000 में लॉन्च हुआ था और इसमें बाद में एपेडा ने इनिशिएटिव लेते हुए इसका जो नोटिफिकेशन है वो 1 अक्टूबर 2001 में हुआ था। और सेम डे फॉरेन ट्रेड डेवलपमेंट रेगुलेशन एक्ट जो है 1992 का, इसमें इसका रजिस्ट्रेशन हो गया और अब ये निर्यातक्षम प्रोग्राम बन गया है। अगर हम कोई भी फार्म का NPOP का सर्टिफिकेशन करते हैं तो यू कैन एक्सपोर्ट योर प्रोडक्ट टू ओवरसीज। और ये जो है इसमें इंडिया ऑर्गेनिक की तरतूद की गई है। जो आपको बीच में जो दिखाई दे रहा है वो इंडिया ऑर्गेनिक का लोगो है। और अटल जी का फोटो मैंने यहाँ डाला है क्योंकि ये मोमेंट जब स्टार्ट हुआ तो अटल जी वाजपेयी जो है उन्होंने काफ़ी इनिशिएटिव इस प्रोग्राम पे लिया था और तब जाके हमारा ये प्रोग्राम बना। उसके बाद अगर हम अभी NPOP का फ्रेमवर्क देखेंगे तो ये बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट एपेडा इसकी सेक्रेटरी होने की वजह से ये बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स के अंडर आता है। अभी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर इसके साथ में काम कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद एपेडा ने एक नेशनल एक्रेडिटेशन बोर्ड, सलग बोर्ड एक बनाया है जो सर्टिफिकेशन बॉडी को एक्रेडिटेशन देता है। और सर्टिफिकेशन बॉडी फिर जो ऑपरेटर्स है जैसे प्रोसेसर है, ट्रेडर्स है या फिर किसान जो है उनको सर्टिफिकेशन देते हैं। इसमें काफ़ी सारी कैटेगरीज है। अगर हम ऑर्गेनिक की बात करेंगे तो सिर्फ खेती एक ही बिजनेस नहीं है, काफ़ी सारे बिजनेस इसमें और उसको काफ़ी अभी डिमांड प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, काफ़ी एक्सपोर्ट मार्केट उसको अवेलेबल हो रहा है। इसमें ऑर्गेनिक क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन है जो किसान भाई करते हैं, सिंगल अगर खेत फार्मर से उसको अगर ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग करना है तो सिंगल फार्मर भी उसका ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन कर सकता है। या फिर ऑर्गेनाइज ग्रोअर ग्रुप जैसे कम से कम 25 फार्मर, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 500 फार्मर, वो भी उनका ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन ले सकते हैं। ऑर्गेनिक लाइव स्टॉक का भी हमें ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन अवेलेबल है, जैसे ऑर्गेनिक मिल्क हो गया, ऑर्गेनिक मीट हो गया, ऑर्गेनिक मटन हो गया, उसके बाद ऑर्गेनिक बी कीपिंग है जिसको हम एपीकल्चर कहते हैं, उसका भी सर्टिफिकेशन अवेलेबल है। ऑर्गेनिक एक्वाकल्चर का भी सर्टिफिकेशन अभी स्टार्ट हुआ है। ऑर्गेनिक फूड प्रोसेसिंग और हैंडलिंग का भी सर्टिफिकेशन हमें इसमें मिलता है। इसके बाद ऑर्गेनिक एनिमल फीड एंड प्रोसेसिंग का भी हमें ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन मिलता है। मशरूम जो हम प्रोड्यूस करते हैं वो अगर हम ऑर्गेनिक वे से करते हैं और उसका अगर हमें मार्केटिंग करना है तो उसका भी सर्टिफिकेशन अवेलेबल है। ऑर्गेनिक सीवीड का, एक्वेटिक प्लांट्स का और ग्रीन हाउस क्रॉप का जो है उसका भी ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन अवेलेबल है। और जो वाइल्ड कलेक्शन होता है, जंगल से जितने भी चीज़ हम लाते हैं उसका भी ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन होता है। और सबसे लास्ट जो है वो इनपुट अप्रूवल्स एक मिलता है। अगर ऑर्गेनिक खेती में हमें बायो फर्टिलाइजर, बायो पेस्टिसाइड इस्तेमाल करने हैं और जो अत्याधुनिक तकनीक से बनाए गए हैं वो अगर इस्तेमाल करने हैं तो उसका सर्टिफिकेशन हमें होता है। इसमें अगर हम स्टैंडर्ड देखे जाए तो मैंने जो चीज़ें बताई वो सभी इसमें आती है। पहले तो क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन प्लान देना पड़ता है, उसके बाद कन्वर्जन रिक्वायरमेंट होता है कि कितने देर में ये ऑर्गेनिक 100% सर्टिफाइड होगा। इसमें अगर सीजनल क्रॉप है तो 24 मंथ लगते हैं, अगर पेरेनियल क्रॉप्स है तो 36 मंथ लगते हैं। उसके बाद लैंडस्केप होना चाहिए, चॉइस ऑफ क्रॉप्स एंड वैरायटी जिसके बारे में मैं बोल चुका हूँ, डाइवर्सिटी इन क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन है, न्यूट्रिएंट मैनेजमेंट है, इसके बाद पेस्ट डिसीज एंड वीड मैनेजमेंट है, कंटामिनेशन कंट्रोल है, सॉइल एंड वाटर कंजर्वेशन है। जो मैंने चीज़ें बताई कि कैसे वाइड स्प्रेड हमें करना है ये प्रैक्टिसेस, सभी चीज़ें जो है वो ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन के स्टैंडर्ड में अवेलेबल है। और अकॉर्डिंग टू ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन स्टैंडर्ड ये चीज़ें हम अगर इन चीज़ों का हम अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करते हैं तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा किसान भाई जो है वो ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन उसमें ले सकते हैं। इसमें अगर आप देखोगे तो ये ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन मिलता है। एपेडा का जो थर्ड पार्टी सर्टिफिकेशंस है, अभी 36 सर्टिफिकेशन बॉडी काम कर रही है। बोस मैम यहाँ आई हुई है, वो आपको ज़्यादा इसमें बताएंगी। और सबसे मैं उनका आपकी सबके वजह से मैं उनको कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट करना चाहूँगा कि जो NPOP स्टैंडर्ड है उसमें अभी रीशफलमेंट किया गया है और ट्रेसेबिलिटी के ऊपर काफ़ी अभी अच्छा ध्यान उन्होंने दिया है ताकि हम अच्छी तरीके से एक्सपोर्ट कर सके। बीच में हमारा NOP USDA जो है वो उनके साथ इक्विवेलेंस ब्रेक हुआ था, लेकिन अभी हम एक नए दौर से ये सर्टिफिकेशन स्टैंडर्ड ला रहे हैं। और ये अगर हम सर्टिफिकेशन के पूरे स्टैंडर्ड को अच्छी तरीके से जान ले और उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन अगर अपने फार्म पे कर ले तो एक सर्टिफिकेशन आपको मिलता है। और वो प्रोडक्ट्स अगर हमें मार्केट में बेचना है तो उसके लिए हमें ट्रांजैक्शन सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए होता है, वो भी इससे मिलता है। जो लोगो है वो सर्टिफिकेशन बॉडी डिसाइड करती है। अगर 100% ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफाइड है प्रोड्यूस है तो उसको अलग अलग कैटेगरी में लोगो मिलता है। और ये लोगो कैसा लगाना है, क्या लगाना है, उसकी साइज कितनी होनी चाहिए, फॉर्म 2 नंबर का एक फॉर्म है NPOP में, वो भर के उसमें हम ये लोगो लगा सकते हैं। उसके बाद पार्टिसिपेटरी गारंटी स्कीम, जिन किसान भाइयों को उनका जो ऑर्गेनिक उत्पाद है वो अगर डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में देना है तो पार्टिसिपेटरी गारंटी सिस्टम है। ये मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स और फार्मर वेलफेयर का प्रोग्राम है। नेशनल सेंटर फॉर ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग जो है ये इसकी सेक्रेटरीट संस्था है। और जितने भी नेशनल सेंटर फॉर ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग के जितने भी जस्ट अ मिनट सर, जितनी भी संस्था है वो इसमें विभागीय संस्था करके है। बाकी जो स्टैंडर्ड है वो स्टैंडर्ड सभी के NPOP और PGS के सभी के सेम है। इसके बाद एक फूड सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया ने एक जैविक भारत लोगो लाया है जो ऑर्गेनिक और नॉन ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट को डिस्टिंग्विश करता है। वो लोगो फूड सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया ने लाया है। तो ये जितना भी है ये ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन में जो चेन ऑफ कस्टडी है इसकी इंटेग्रिटी मेंटेन करने के लिए NPOP प्रोग्राम, PGS और ये जैविक भारत लोगो है। मुझे पता है कि टाइम बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है लेकिन सब्जेक्ट बहुत बड़ा है। आई कुड नॉट एबल टू एक्सप्लेन विद इन अ मिनट, so I am really very thankful to NABARD to give me chance to elaborate my things with you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Prashant. My apologies for hurrying you a bit. you have touched the whole gamut of certification. I understand that participatory guarantee system is a little more time available. We could have discussed a bit more. From the audience, any one or two queries to Dr. Prashant? Very brief, straight. Somebody can give a mic.
हेलो सर, ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग का सर्टिफिकेशन के बहुत सारे आपने बताया, अच्छी बात है, अच्छा लगा हमें। लेकिन नेचुरल फार्मिंग जो कर रहे हैं, काऊ बेस्ड जो भी हम कर रहे हैं, इस तरह के जो प्रोडक्ट्स आ रहे हैं, उसके लिए कोई सर्टिफिकेशन का कोई सिस्टम है क्या?
I think this question you would like to respond now? ठीक, okay.
अभी फिलहाल तो जो ऑर्गेनिक का सर्टिफिकेशन है NPOP और अभी फिलहाल तो जो ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन है उसके लिए जो नेचुरल फार्मिंग है उसके लिए जो सर्टिफिकेशन स्टैंडर्ड वो NPOP और PGSC है। अभी इसके ऊपर काम चल रहा है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर और फार्मर्स वेलफेयर का, जिसमें इंटीग्रेटेड न्यूट्रिएंट मैनेजमेंट का जो डिपार्टमेंट है वो काम कर रहा है। लेकिन उन्होंने एक डिफरेंशिएट उसमें किया है कि नेचुरल फार्मिंग जो है वो जीरो टिलेज प्रैक्टिस के बजाय उसको हम मिनिमम टिलेज प्रैक्टिसेस ऐसा करेंगे, और सर्टिफिकेशन जो है वो NPOP का ही रहेगा या फिर PGS का रहेगा, क्योंकि काफ़ी सारी प्रैक्टिसेस जो है वो आइडेंटिकल है। लेकिन केंद्र सरकार अभी उसके ऊपर काम कर रहा है। इसके लिए एक यूनिवर्सिटी उन्होंने इस्टेब्लिश की है गुजरात में, और पैकेज ऑफ प्रैक्टिसेस भी वहाँ डेवलप वो कर रहे हैं।
ओके सर,
थैंक यू।
इशू हो रही हैं नेचुरल फार्मिंग की।
जी सर।
तो कैबिनेट अप्रूवल हो गया है, गाइडलाइंस में इट विल कवर द होल प्रोसेस इंक्लूडिंग सर्टिफिकेशन।
जी जी, थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, sir. May I request Dr. Shashwati Bose for the next talk?
Sorry,
Dr.
sir, just there was one question.
We will take towards the end.
Sure.
We'll take towards the end. Okay. Madam, please. She is General Manager at EPIDA. She is an expert in promoting organic exports. Okay, right, ma'am.
Thank you. Very good morning to all of you. Respected Chair, dignitaries on the dais, and esteemed participants. It's my proud privilege to be here today and presenting a talk on the National Program for Organic Production, which is the primary and the main organic regulations of the country. So before going into the regulatory part of it, I would like to first touch upon why certification is needed. This is because organic farming is a agricultural practice. We know that India is a traditionally organic country, in terms that in our traditions, organic cultivation practices are already. Mic on. अब ठीक है? Is okay now? So in our organic farming is inherently, in our traditions, because use of the manures and various, inputs made from the natural sources, these were already there in our agricultural practices. But subsequently, to increase the yield and other things, the use of the chemical fertilizers, it was all introduced, and then it became a practice. So we are coming back to the inherent tradition. But what happens is that when somebody is practicing organic farming in the field, so how the end consumer will know that it is actually being practiced? Because organic is not a product certification, it is a process certification. So it's a process, so the entire process has to be organic. The process means the production, the land preparation, the use of the seeds, planting materials, then how you are handling it, the storage. Everything has to be maintained. There has to be a separation with the conventional things. There should not be any commingling. All these processes have to be followed. This happens throughout the supply chain. So it is not only about the production, whoever is handling that organic product. So harvest also has to be separated. Then whoever has procured from the organic produce, then that the trader or that processor, they also have to maintain these organic processes, the standards. So that is why it's a process certification, and somebody has to certify it. Somebody has to endorse it. That is why it will bring the trust in the consumer that yes, it is organic. Somebody has gone and seen that the person who is doing this production or processing, he is following the organic processes. So that is why organic certification is very important. And globally, if we talk in terms of exports, then it is a third-party certification, because third party will be is not connected with the seller or buyer. So it is assumed that it will be an unbiased sort of endorsement that will come. So that is why it's a third-party certification system, which is required for exports. And it gives an assurance to the consumer, as I said, that because they are buying organic, is somewhere they have a concern for the health concern for a healthy food, so that will give them an assurance. The system of certification which is followed in India, for the exports, I'm starting because the National Program for Organic Production, NPOP, it was formulated and then implemented by Department of Commerce in 2001. So the primary objective was for export of organic products from the country. We promote Agriculture and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority, APEDA, the organization where I belong. We are under Ministry of Commerce, and we promote the export of agricultural products from the country. So while promoting, we see that organic products have a niche market. It gives a better return in comparison to the conventional products. It has a niche market globally. So to diversify our export basket, to get, we expanded to the organic product segment. And then when you have to export organic products to any country, it has to be certified. For certification, the certification has to be recognized by the importing country. So पहले what used क्या होता था कि जैसे if you have to export to Europe, then you have to get certified in their regulation, the EU regulations, or US. So what happens is their certifier will come to your country, they will certify the entire supply chain, and then only it will be exported. So that is why Government of India came up with its own regulations, and subsequently we made efforts to get recognition for our regulations so that it becomes easy and more cost benefit for our stakeholders and exporters. It was notified under the FTDR Act by the DGFT first in 2001. The first edition came in 2001. The last edition, the 7th edition, was notified in November 2014. And we are pleased to inform that the 8th edition, NPOP 24, will be launched very shortly this week. It's expected to be launched on 9th. So, it came up, and I was about to announce it in the end. We'll go through the entire presentation. For the domestic market, it was voluntary under the AGMARK Act in 2009. Because in the domestic market we thought we'll get some space, because once a regulation comes in, then it is a mandatory requirement that everybody has to comply with that regulation. And as you can see that our regulation is because for exports, and it aligns with the importing countries' requirements, so you have to comply with that. So in 2009 it was voluntary under the AGMARK Act, but subsequently in 2017 it was notified under the FSSA Food Safety and Standards Organic Food Regulations Act, and they gave two options. One is the NPOP and another is the participatory guarantee system. So either one of them, the organic producers can select, the producers and the sellers which they want to get certified. But for imports and for any recognitions, it is the NPOP, because it will be go under the bilaterals. National Program for Organic Production, NPOP, it provides the standards which has to be followed. It will be for the organic production, which will be the crop production or processing or handling. All the processes have been what is to be the mandatory requirements, what has to be followed has been prescribed, which is in the chapter 3 of the NPOP. And then it has the accreditation procedures, because not everybody can certify for organic products. The certification bodies has to first get accreditation, that is the recognition that they have the competence to certify any product as organic. So they have to apply, there's a process, they have to apply to the accreditation body. So I'll come through the process, then they have to get, there is a process of their audits and everything that is done, and then they get the accreditation by the National Accreditation Body. And APEDA is the secretariat of NPOP, so we carry out all the activities on behalf of NAB and BOP. Then once the certification body gets the recognition, then they can certify the operators. Operators will include the producer, whoever are operating under NPOP. They can be the producers, they can be the processors, traders, and they have to be certified for their scope. So if there's a person is both, then they have to give different scopes, because they are different processes. So they have to get certified separately. And they have their inspection and other processes that is carried out before they get a certificate. Then there is a grower group certification. I have a slide on that. That is addressing the concerns of the high cost of certification. NPOP provides a provision for certifying the farmers in grower groups, which will bring down the cost. And we have our India Organic logo. That is our logo for the under NPOP. So all the rules and regulation governing its use, how you can use that logo on what products. Like it cannot be used on an in-conversion product. It can only be used on an organic product which has completed all the conversion processes and is organic. NPOP has got recognition. EU and Switzerland have recognized for crop production. So the unprocessed products have an equivalency with EU and Switzerland, and also acceptance by Great Britain. So the products, unprocessed products can be exported under NPOP, need not be recertified under their regulation. Then we have a mutual recognition agreement. Recently we have implemented on 8th of July with Taiwan, and for negotiations with Australia is in an advanced stage. So we are negotiating the NPOP, mutual recognition with these countries, so that more and more benefit can be passed on to our operators, as they don't have to then go for recertification. This is the process which I was telling you, that first of all we have a standard, that is the national standard. Under the NPOP we have our regulation and the standards, which has to be complied with by the operators, those who want to do production, organic production, processing, trading. And then they are certified by the certification bodies. So the certification bodies who are accredited by the National Accreditation Body under NPOP, and their accreditation process involves, they will apply, because APEDA is a secretariat, they apply to APEDA. We do their first screening based on the criteria that is given in NPOP. Chapter 4 covers the criteria. So based on that criteria, we evaluate their their documents that they provide, the competence of their people, and after their documentation part is satisfactory, then we do an on-site audit, and only after their compliances it is placed before the National Accreditation Body for accrediting them as a certification body. So this is the process which is followed in accrediting a certification body, and then the certification bodies does again registers the operator, and then they do annual inspections, and every year the scope certificate, the certificate which is given for organic operation is called a scope certificate. So every year that certificate is renewed after the inspection. So there are annual inspections, and there are unannounced inspections also, to sudden inspections to see whether the processes are actually being followed or not. And how we have maintained the oversight on the certification bodies, again, it is the annual audits that is conducted. The renewal is once in 3 years, but annual surveillance is done every year. So that, and besides that, we do unannounced inspections based on, we review their certification data and other things, and then the complaints if we receive. And based on that, we do unannounced inspections of the operators that the certification bodies have certified to see if the organic processes are followed. And if they are not followed, then appropriate, action and sanctions are imposed on them. The scope of certification under NPOP covers crop production, processing, handling, trading, livestock, apiculture, aquaculture, then animal feed, mushroom and seaweeds are the new standards that were added in 14. This scope, all the certification bodies don't have all the scopes. When a new certification body comes, you usually get the crop production and wild, and subsequently after their surveillance, they request for a scope expansion, so we give them. And the list of the updated list is available on APIDA website, apida.gov.in under the NPOP section. And again, we are pleased to inform you that along with the NPOP 8th edition, we are coming up with the NPOP portal. So when you visit the APIDA website, you will have a separate NPOP portal where you will get all the information related to NPOP, so that you don't have to scroll, the stakeholders don't have to scroll through and struggle in getting the informations. And of course, we will keep on enriching it with time. The major stakeholders, the Department of Commerce is the apex body, APIDA is the secretariat, and we have accredited certification body. There are 37 presently with different scopes, of course. Not everybody have all the scopes, which is given in their list, and 14 are in the public sector. Then Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, NCONF, MOVCD, NER, they are promoting organic agriculture in a big way. So there are many. Then FSSA is the regulator for the domestic market. We have the state governments who are promoting organic farming under their various schemes. Then we recently have a National Cooperative Organic Limited, NCOL, who have come up, who want to promote organic organic products sale in the domestic market. So they are also working with the farmers and other organizations to procure organic products and market it in the domestic market. And subsequently, they have NCEL, they will also go in for exports. Then we have our progressive farmers. Then there are very many service providers who are helping the grower groups to do the organic certification processes. We have our organic industry and associations. Various retail outlets have come in India. India has progressed a lot in the past few years. Now we have organic outlets in the country, and of course we have our consumers who are now more than eager to have organic products on their plates. Role of APIDA is we function as a secretariat, so we know all the activities which are given in the ambit of NPOP for related to accreditation of the certification bodies, then investigation of the complaints, then working on negotiating mutual recognition agreements, revising the NPOP standards, all this, and besides that, the capacity building and sensitization of the stakeholders, all these activities are taken up by APIDA. You can see the area and production. I just want to clarify one thing, because this information is given on our website, but I just want to clarify to you that we have an online traceability system wherein the certification, because that organic data as such is not available, because even in exports you have a HS code, which is a common HS code. There is no separate HS code for organic products. So what we do is we extract the certification data so that it gives us some picture on what is the status, because we will not, without no data is better than we have some data. So the export data is coming the next slide. The area and production is based on the certificates that are issued. So the area is the area which is covered under the certification under NPOP. So far as production is concerned, it is actually the commercial output, because for production they have to enter the production of that area. So usually what happens is whatever is a saleable output, they put it in the system, and then that is, transacted further. So it's my request, this is not for any statistical analysis, because that will not give a correct picture, as it is not the actual production. It is only the commercial output that we have also clearly specified on our website also. The export data is from the transaction certificates, because as per the notification, any product exported from the country as organic has to be certified by an accredited certification body under NPOP, and it has to be accompanied by a transaction certificate. So this certificate, it is a requirement, the importing country checks those transaction certificates. So from that data, we extract this export information. So the global food market, of course, is the source is the IFOM FIVM World of Organic Agriculture book, which shows that it's a very huge market of organic worldwide. The major largest organic markets are like USA, Germany, India's export scenario, we are exporting to the major destinations, and the USA, European Union, Canada, Great Britain, Switzerland, they cover almost 95% of the total products exported from the country. And we are exporting all categories, cereals, processed food, spices, dry fruits, pulses, coffee, tea. This is the share of the major markets, as you can see. 49% is of USA, 33% is of Europe. This is the statistics of 23-24. The grower group certification was introduced in 2005, because it's a third-party certification system. There is annual inspection, so there is a certification cost involved. So it can be very costly for small farmers. So that is why annual inspections is mandatory in organic certification, because a certificate is given only after annual inspections. So in grower group certification, what happens is that 25 to 500 farmers who are in geographical proximity and who are having a similar production system, they can collectively come up as a group, and they can have their own working mechanism, which is called an internal control system. So you can say it is a sort of a administrative unit or governing body sort of a thing. And what they do is they do 100% inspections of the farmers twice in a year in 2 growing seasons. So in main 2 growing seasons, and then after that they submit all the information to the certification body, the entire details of the farmers and then the inspection report. So whatever the certification body will be doing, first they do it. They do the inspections, they check the compliances, everything, report to certification body. Then certification body comes for annual inspections, and they check the internal control system office audit they do. They check how the internal control system is functioning. Have they done the inspections? Who are the inspectors? The competence of the inspectors. Then they do a risk assessment, and after the risk assessment, they check the farmers on sample. So they do a re-inspection of the farmers on sample to see if the grower group is functioning as per the prescribed norms under NPOP. The organic certification mark is the India Organic logo. You can see the left side. This was the logo. This was there since beginning. In 2017, as my previous speaker said, that in 2017 there is a Jaivik Bharat logo, which is a requirement under the domestic market. So I also want to, although the book covers it, I also announce this, that this Jaivik Bharat and the India Organic logo have merged. For the export purpose mainly, we have come up with a unified India Organic logo. So this will be the logo after implementation of NPOP 8th edition. This right side is the India Organic logo, and then we'll take it up with FSSAI also. Once they notify, then it will be in the domestic market also. Till then it is like NPOP and Jaivik Bharat, but subsequently it will come up as a unified India Organic logo. That, as I said, that for the transaction of every consignment, so scope certificate is a certificate which actually entails all the information about the activities of that particular operation. For example, this production. So the address of the operator who is certified, his name, his address, then is the crops they are growing, the area and the estimated quantity. And then this is for 1 year. But when they have to sell something, then there is a transaction certificate. Suppose you have a harvest of 100 metric tons and you want to sell only 10 metric tons. So he will be then the other person is procuring only 10. So that 10 will get deducted from his stock and go in his account. So this is how this traceability is maintained. So we have a complete traceability system till from the farmer till the end user. That you can trace back each and every consignment back to the farm level. So there's a complete end-to-end traceability which is possible through these transaction certificates. TraceNet is our online traceability system. It was introduced in 2010 and it was the first organic traceability system in the world. And it has been highly appreciated by USA. In fact, EU has come up with traces. Later, it's in 17 or 18, they have come up with traces. And USA has also introduced an online system now. But we came up with this and almost finished. And then all the certificates are issued through TraceNet. They have a unique QR code, so you can check and verify the authenticity of the certificates. Just the final slide that we are revising this NPOP 14. We started the work in December 23, and then we have come up with this revised document. We had put it twice on for public comments. And finally, the 8th edition of NPOP is scheduled to be launched on 9th of January 25. The NPOP revision covers, we have actually, simplification is, made it more structured. We had brought in clarity in the processes. We will be also coming up with a subsequently with a procedure manual also for better understanding of the stakeholders. We have transparency in terms of now all the operator details and everything will be, that is more clearly specified to upload on the websites. There's a lot of objectivity, and then we have, coming up with upgraded IT interface for more stringent monitoring and oversight. And also we have enhanced the sanctions so that it acts as a deterrence, and we have a very robust and, certification system. So the way forward is, of course, we have to implement the 8th edition in true letter and spirit, then strengthen the monitoring and surveillance, for which we have, got the upgraded IT interface. We have leveraged on the technology. We are coming up with capacity building and sensitization programs. In fact, we are coming up with the courses for the ICS inspectors, the grower group inspectors, so that they will, the inspections are done in a much better and proper way at the ground level. And also we are coming up with training videos and local languages also will attempt it, because that is for the farmers to understand the certification requirements. So we are negotiating MRAs with many important trading partners. And of course, as our role, we are promoting India organic brand globally. We participate in BioFact Germany. India, of course, is there, and that BioFact Nuremberg, Germany, for more than 15 years now, and we serve one of the largest trade shows for organic products in the world. And we also participate in Natural Product Expo West, which we started from 2015. And this year we participated in the Natural and Organic Expo in Dubai. So this is how we are, trying to expand the reach of NPOP and our organic products across the globe. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Bose, for the detailed presentation on the certification process and vis-a-vis the exports. I have a couple of queries, but I am reserving them towards the end. Thanks for ending with a good news that it's a good news that the NPOP standards are revised, and we are launching it in very 3-4 days we are launching it. And let's congratulate EPEDA for doing this mammoth task. Now I would request the next panel speaker, Mr. Mohan Singh Murari, Mr. Mohan M. Singh. He is the Chief Managing Director and co-founder of Farmerface Organic Technology and Research Institute. This is for record, but when I interacted with him, he said he was connected to organic farming from his school days. Yeah. And I should consider him as the voice from the ground. Please go ahead, Master.
Good morning, everyone. बहुत खुशी होती है हमें कि जब हम अपने देश के किसानों के हित में बात करने के लिए किसी मंच पे खड़े होते हैं या उनकी आवश्यकताओं के बारे में बात करते हैं। जहाँ तक मुझे यहाँ बोलने का मौका मिला है, बताने का मौका मिला है, तो वो सब्जेक्ट है जैविक उत्पाद। जो हम उत्पादन कर रहे हैं उसे बाजार कैसे दें, उसे एक ब्रांड कैसे बनाएं, कैसे एक सक्सेसफुल एंटरप्रेन्योर के रूप में, कैसे एक कमर्शलाइज फार्मर के रूप में उसे प्रमोट करें। इन्हीं टॉपिक्स के बीच में मैं अगले कुछ मिनट तक आपसे बात करूंगा और मैं कोशिश करूंगा मैंने अपने जीवन में अपने 12 साल के अनुभवों में जो जो चीज़ मैंने अचीव किया है कैसे कमर्शलाइज हो सकता है दूसरों के लिए, फार्मर्स के लिए बताने की। तो सबसे पहले हम जानते हैं हमें क्या क्या चाहिए एक ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट देने के लिए। एक कमर्शियल मार्केट, एक प्रॉफिटेबल मार्केट। नो डाउट किसान खेती कर रहे हैं, हम उसका वैल्यू एडिशन कर रहे हैं, बाजार दे रहे हैं, बेच रहे हैं, क्योंकि इकोनॉमिकल सपोर्ट किसी भी कॉन्सेप्ट, किसी भी प्लान के लिए सबसे ज़्यादा कंपलसरी है। और हमारी कोशिश ये होती है कि हम फार्मर को अगर लार्ज बेनिफिट्स दे रहे हैं और कंज्यूमर को हाई क्वालिटी गुड्स या कमोडिटी प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं तो इकोनॉमिकल ट्रांजैक्शन इंक्रीज करेगा, जो कि हमारे देश के इकोनॉमी के साथ साथ हमारे हेल्थ इकोनॉमी, जो हमारे बॉडीज़ के अंदर में जो हम फूड कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं उसमें भी कहीं ना कहीं सपोर्ट करेगा। उसके लिए एक बेटर ऑप्शन या सब्जेक्ट है वो है ऑर्गेनिक। तो एक ऑर्गेनिक ब्रांड और किनके साथ हमें कोलैबोरेट होना है, किस तरीके से भारत कृषि प्रधान देश है और उसको पर्यटन के रूप में, कृषि को ही पर्यटन के रूप में हम प्रस्तुत कर सकें। और हमारे यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री जी का जो एक दूरदर्शी सोच, वोकल फॉर लोकल, यानी स्थानीय चीज़ों का व्यापार स्थानीय लोगों के साथ एक ब्रांड के रूप में करने की जो कोशिश है, उन्हीं चीज़ों को मैं आगे आपको बताता हूँ। सबसे पहला जरूरी चीज़ है किसी भी चीज़ की ब्रांडिंग के लिए, वो है प्रोडक्ट की आइडेंटिटी। हमें प्रोडक्ट को पहचानना होगा, हम कस्टमर को क्या दे रहे हैं। ऑर्गेनिक में हम इनपुट दे रहे हैं या पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट वैल्यू एडिशन करके उन्हें प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं या फ्रेश प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं। हमें एक प्रोडक्ट्स को आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा। दूसरा, वो प्रोडक्ट कहाँ कंज्यूम होगा, उसके बायर कौन है, उसके कंज्यूमर कौन है, यूज़र कौन है, वो हमें जानना होगा। और आफ्टर डैट सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट मार्केटिंग एंड प्रमोशंस। हम अच्छा बना लेंगे, अच्छा उगा लेंगे, लेकिन अच्छे यूज़र तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें मार्केटिंग करनी होगी, हमें अपने टारगेट ऑडियंस को जानना पड़ेगा। तो सबसे पहले कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जो आइडेंटिफाई होते हैं। आजकल के डेट में हमारे घरों में, हम सबके घरों में डेली कंजम्पशन का डेटा अगर देखें तो वेजिटेबल्स सबसे ज़्यादा हमारे यहाँ यूज़ होते हैं। सेकंड हमारे यहाँ फल्स हैं, मसाले हैं, डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स हैं। और हमारे देश की बात करें, हमारा देश कृषि प्रधान है, जहाँ किसान खेती करते हैं। सबसे ज़्यादा इनपुट फॉर एग्रीकल्चर, फर्टिलाइज़र, पेस्टिसाइड, इंसेक्टिसाइड हम केमिकल यूज़ कर रहे हैं और उन केमिकल को हम ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट से, ऑर्गेनिक बायो फर्टिलाइज़र, ऑर्गेनिक पेस्टिसाइड से रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं। तो एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोडक्ट एरिया है, एक बहुत बड़ा मार्केट साइज़ है। अगर हम प्रोडक्ट की बात करें, ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट के लिए जो आइडेंटिटी ऑफ प्रोडक्ट है वो बहुत बड़ा है। क्योंकि मैं दावे के साथ कह सकता हूँ कि कोई ऐसा व्यक्ति नहीं है जो कृषि उत्पाद के बिना है। हर कोई कृषि उत्पाद से जुड़ा हुआ है, वो खाने के रूप में उसे इस्तेमाल कर रहा है और देश के इकोनॉमी में हमारे फार्मर्स सबसे पहले आते हैं। अब टारगेट मार्केट कौन सा है हमारा, जो भी हम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, हमारे टारगेट मार्केट कौन से हैं। सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है, जब भी कोरोना आया, कोरोना आने के बाद हमारे देश के सभी लोगों को लगभग हेल्थ कॉन्शियस बना दिया कि हमें हेल्थी फूड कंज्यूम करना है, हमें अपने बॉडी की रोग प्रतिरोधक क्षमता को बढ़ानी है। और जाहिर सी बात है, जब ये रिपोर्ट आती है कि एक दिन में 1 केजी गेहूं के आटे में 112 ग्राम लगभग टॉक्सिक एलिमेंट मिल रहे हैं, तो वो रोटी हम खा रहे हैं तो हमारे बॉडी को, हमारे ऑर्गन्स को न्यूरोलॉजिकल इश्यूज़ किस तरीके से क्रिएट कर रहे हैं। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है कि जो कस्टमर, हमारा पहला कस्टमर जो अपने हेल्थ के प्रति, अपने लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड के प्रति कॉन्शियस है, उसको जोड़े। क्योंकि ये कह सकता हूँ मैं कि मेरे ग्रैंडफादर 110 साल के एज में डेथ किए, बड़े पिताजी मेरे लगभग 85 और मैं अभी 33 साल का हूँ। मुझे नहीं लगता कि 50-55 से ज़्यादा जाऊँगा अगर इस तरीके का फूड चेन, जो टॉक्सिक फूड चेन मैं कंज्यूम कर रहा हूँ। और ये हमारे देश के यूथ के लिए बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। इसके बाद एनवायरनमेंट फ्रेंडली है। और सबसे ज़रूरी चीज़ मैं अभी बताना चाहूँगा आप सभी को। देखिए, इस सभा कक्ष में बैठे हुए लगभग 45% लोग ऐसे हैं जो अपनी ज़िंदगी जी चुके हैं, मैं कह सकता हूँ। पर जो युवा सुन रहे हैं ना मुझे, जो 30 साल 35 साल के युवा है, 40 साल के युवा है, जिनका अपकमिंग जनरेशन ऑन ग्राउंड है, क्या उनको अगर इसी तरीके का टॉक्सिक फूड हम देते रहेंगे तो मैं तो कह भी पा रहा हूँ कि मेरे ग्रैंडफादर 110 साल गए थे। मुझे नहीं लगता उनको अपने ग्रैंड चाइल्ड को कहने का मौका भी मिलेगा कि हमने कितना जिया। तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और वो हमारा टारगेट मार्केट भी है। ये कंज्यूमर के अकॉर्डिंग भी मैं बात करूं या प्रोड्यूसर के अकॉर्डिंग भी बात करूं तो ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट का सबसे बड़ा अगर कोई टारगेट मार्केट या कंज्यूमर है तो वो यूथ है हमारे, क्योंकि अपकमिंग जनरेशन को, अपकमिंग एज को उनको प्रोटेक्ट करना है, टॉक्सिसिटी से अपने आप को बाहर करना है, तो ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स उनको कंज्यूम करना ही करना है। मार्केट को कैसे प्रमोट कर सकते हैं, कैसे ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स को मार्केट में रीच करा सकते हैं, कस्टमर से अच्छे बेनिफिट्स लेके आ सकते हैं एज ए एंटरप्रेन्योर, तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं हमारे एग्रीकल्चर साइंटिस्ट। नो डाउट सेक्रेटरी सर भी हैं, मैं कहना चाहूँगा सर थोड़ा सा, चूँकि ग्राउंड जीरो पे जब हम काम करते हैं, एग्रीकल्चर साइंटिस्ट की जो टेक्नोलॉजीज़ हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं इंग्लिश मीडियम में है, और रीजनल लैंग्वेज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है फॉर फार्मिंग ग्रोथ के लिए, क्योंकि जिस क्षेत्र में जाइए वहाँ का किसान उतना एजुकेटेड नहीं है कि हमारे इंग्लिश टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट कर सके, जब तक उसको रीजनल प्रैक्टिसेस में उसको अब एड ऑन नहीं कर पाते। तो हम कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं, हमारी टीम नो डाउट फार्मरफेस एक साइंटिफिक टीम के साथ हम लोग ग्राउंड जीरो पे काम करते हैं, अवेयर करते हैं फार्मर्स को। बट मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट भी करूंगा कि जो भी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, साइंटिफिक टीम है, वो मैक्सिमम अपने रिसर्च पेपर्स या नई टेक्नोलॉजीज जो हैं वो लोकल रीजनल लैंग्वेज में अगर पब्लिश्ड हो, लोकल रीजनल लैंग्वेज में अगर फार्मर तक जाए तो काफ़ी आसानी से वो अडॉप्ट कर सकते हैं। देन आफ्टर जिम हमारे यहाँ हैं, फिटनेस कोच हैं, नो डाउट हेल्थ कॉन्शियस हैं, वो हमारे लिए इन्फ्लुएंसर का काम कर सकते हैं। और सबसे ज़्यादा जरूरी जो आने वाले भविष्य के युवा को तैयार करते हैं, हमारे टीचर्स। इंडिया में बहुत सारे स्कूल्स हैं और हर स्कूल में बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं। अगर टीचर्स एज ए इन्फ्लुएंसर ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स के, ऑर्गेनिक प्रोड्यूस के लिए अपने स्टूडेंट्स को टीच करें कि हमें टॉक्सिक फूड को हटा करके ऑर्गेनिक फूड को, हेल्थी फूड को कंज्यूम करना है, फार्मर्स को रिस्पेक्ट देना है, जो हमारे लिए अन्नदाता, जो हमारे लिए ऊर्जा का काम कर रहे हैं, उनके प्रोडक्ट को आइडेंटिटी देनी है, तो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत रेयर टाइम में, बहुत कम टाइम में हम बहुत बड़े मार्केट तक रीच कर पाएंगे ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट के अकॉर्डिंग। डॉक्टर्स नो डाउट आज के डेट में हर डॉक्टर, आप जाएं, आप डिजीज परेशान हो रहे हैं, चाहे ब्लड प्रेशर, शुगर या किसी अन्य बीमारी से ग्रसित है, डॉक्टर के पास जाएंगे, डॉक्टर एडवाइस कर रहे हैं ऑर्गेनिक फूड्स के लिए कि ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स को आप कंज्यूम करें। इसके अलावा एक चीज़ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, चूंकि सभी इंटेलेक्चुअल्स यहाँ हैं, हम इंस्टाग्राम पे आते हैं, किसी पॉलिटिशियन, इंस्टाग्राम, फेसबुक, ट्विटर पे किसी पॉलिटिशियन के पोस्ट को बहुत अच्छे से लाइक करते हैं, कमेंट करते हैं, रिपोस्ट करते हैं, शेयर करते हैं। बट एक फार्मर एक अच्छा ग्रोथ कर रहा है, कुछ अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप करी, हम उसको स्क्रॉल कर देते हैं। ये एक फैक्ट है हमारे नेशन के अंदर में। तो मैं यहाँ पे भी कहना चाहूँगा कि मार्केट के प्रमोशंस के लिए जो हमारे लोकल फार्मर्स हैं, जो कुछ अच्छा कर रहे हैं, कुछ इनिशिएटिव्स ले रहे हैं, कुछ अच्छी चीज़ें को डेवलप कर रहे हैं, उन्हें मंच मिले। नो डाउट हमारे सबके पास अपने हाथ में मंच है उनके लिए। अगर उनके लिए 2 वर्ड हम कमेंट के रूप में उनकी हौसला अफजाई करते हैं तो एक नेशनल लेवल पे एक अवेयरनेस भी आएगा, एक बेनिफिशियल ग्रोथ भी आएगा, और फार्मर जो हमें एनर्जी देने का काम कर रहा है उसके अंदर काफ़ी अच्छा कॉन्फिडेंस भी आएगा। जरूरी है एग्रीकल्चर हमें टाइप्स करने के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है। हमें कैसे अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को किनके साथ कोलैबोरेट करें कि हमें अच्छा मार्केट मिल सके फॉर प्रोडक्शन। एग्रीकल्चर साइंटिस्ट के साथ फार्मर को कनेक्ट होना पड़ेगा, इंस्टीट्यूशन को कनेक्ट होना पड़ेगा। और वैसे फार्मर जो खास करके नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी बना रहे, बिहार के अंदर में एक बड़ा चैलेंज था, खुले जानवर का, नीलगाय की समस्या का चैलेंज था। 2020-2021 के अंदर में सिवान जिले के अंदर में जब हम लोगों ने वर्किंग स्टार्ट किया तो फार्मर बोले कि सर मक्के के साथ हम लोग पोटैटो का इंटरक्रॉपिंग करते हैं, नीलगाय घोरपरास आके खा जाती है, इसलिए मक्का नहीं लगाएंगे, आलू नहीं लगाएंगे। एक फार्मर हमारे यहाँ के हैं, बहुत कम लैंड है उनके पास, मैं कह सकता हूँ 0.3 एकड़ लैंड उनके पास अवेलेबल था, पर उन्होंने कहा कि ऐसा है कि मैंने देखा है कि गेहूं की फसल जब चारों तरफ लगती है तो नीलगाय घोरपरास उसको नुकसान नहीं करता। ये चीज़ मैंने नोटिस किया। उसके बाद मोनोक्रॉपिंग पैटर्न के साथ इंटरक्रॉपिंग पैटर्न को मैंने ऐड करके मक्के को पोटैटो के साथ हटा करके मक्के को और पोटैटो के क्रॉप में मैंने वीट को रिप्लेस किया, और पोटैटो और वीट के इंटरक्रॉपिंग से बेनिफिट्स मैं आपको बताऊं, साइंटिफिकली वहाँ पे लॉसेस 90% रिड्यूस हो गए। दूसरा जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बेनिफिट रहा, साइंटिफिक बेनिफिट, जो अर्ली ब्लाइट लगते हैं पोटैटो के क्रॉप में, जिसमें फार्मर फंगिसाइड कंज्यूम करता है, लार्जर फंगिसाइड यूज़ करता है, जो कि हमारे बॉडी के अंदर न्यूरोलॉजिकल डिसऑर्डर क्रिएट करता है, वहाँ पे वो लॉसेस भी बहुत ज़्यादा ही रिड्यूस हुए और प्रोडक्शन काफ़ी हाई रहा। 12 टन पर एकड़ पोटैटो का प्रोडक्शन था उसमें इंटरक्रॉपिंग के अंदर में, और 2.3 टन वीट का प्रोडक्शन था इंटरक्रॉपिंग में। तो मैं ये इसलिए कह रहा हूँ कि जो कोई फार्मर कुछ अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप कर रहा है, हम उसको प्रमोट करें, उसको आइडेंटिफिकेशंस दें, उसको हम पहचान दें, उसको सम्मान दें तो बहुत अच्छा है। और एज अ ऑर्गेनिक एंटरप्रेन्योर या एज अ ऑर्गेनिक फार्मर अगर आपको कोलैबोरेट करना है तो आप उनके साथ कोलैबोरेट करें जो प्रोग्रेसिव फार्मर्स हैं आपके लोकल्स पे। और इसके बाद ऑर्गेनिक रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट फॉर सेल्स, होटल्स के अंदर में आजकल शुरू हो चुका है ऑर्गेनिक का क्रेज़। स्कूल्स के अंदर में मिड डे मील्स के कॉन्सेप्ट चल रहे हैं, प्रिंसिपल्स को पर डे सब्जीज बाई करना है, अनाज उनको पर डे जो अभी आटा या चावल उनको परचेज करना है, उनके साथ आप आसानी से कोलैबोरेट होकर के अपना ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट दे सकते हैं। गवर्नमेंट इस हॉस्पिटल्स के अंदर में फूड्स के लिए ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, उसमें बहुत आसानी से आप टाई अप करके अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को मार्केट दे सकते हैं और हम लोग कर भी रहे। रेस्टोरेंट्स के अंदर में आप दे सकते हैं। तो मैसेज यहाँ पे एक सिंपल सा जनरेट होता है, वो ये होता है कि बच्चा बच्चा करे पुकार, जहर मुक्त भोजन मेरा अधिकार। ये फंडामेंटल राइट्स है। अगर हम टॉक्सिक फूड को नहीं हटाते हैं तो आने वाले जनरेशन को हम क्या दे रहे हैं ये हमें समझने की ज़रूरत है। अवेयरनेस चाहिए। देखिए टूरिज्म की बात होती है, पर्यटन की बात होती है तो बड़ा मज़ा आता है पर्यटन में। हमारे बिहार के अंदर में क्या होता है कि बच्चों को हम लोग जू ले जाते हैं, चिड़ियाखाना ले जा करके घुमाते हैं। मैंने एक थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिकल किया था सिवान के अंदर में, कुछ स्कूल को बोला कि आप अपने यहाँ जो कैंपेन चला रहे हैं वो मेरे फार्म्स पे लेके आइए। और मैं अपने फार्म्स पे स्टूडेंट्स को बुलाया, वहाँ पे उनको इंटरक्रॉपिंग मॉड्यूल बताया, फेंसिंग मॉड्यूल बताया, ऑर्गेनिक प्रैक्टिसेस बताया और इतना ज़्यादा ग्रो किया। अभी मैं कुछ फोटोज़ आपको शेयर करूँगा अभी आगे के स्लाइड्स में, तो आप आइडेंटिफाई कर पाएंगे कितनी अच्छी चीज़ें इन्वायरमेंट के साथ कनेक्ट होती हैं। टेस्ट ऑफ ऑर्गेनिक फूड, नो डाउट अगर क्वालिटी प्रोड्यूस है और टेस्ट जब आपको बेनिफिट मिलता है तो ऑटोमेटिकली आप अट्रैक्ट होते हैं। एजुकेशन एंड ट्रेनिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और सेक्रेटरी सर से एक रिक्वेस्ट ये भी मैं कहूँगा कि नो डाउट बहुत सारे यूनिवर्सिटीज़ कॉलेजेस में बीएससी एग्रीकल्चर की पढ़ाई हो रही है बट प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस वो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। तो एक मेरा प्रपोजल भी रहेगा या सजेशन भी रहेगा कि जो बच्चे हैं कम से कम उनका 1 साल का सेशन, 4 साल के क्लासेस में 1 साल का सेशन उनको एक गाँव दे दिया जाए या 10 किसान दे दिए जाए कि आप 10 किसान को डेवलप करें, तो आई थिंक उनके पास प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपोजर भी आएगा और जो आउटकम हमें चाहिए वो बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल होगा। वोकल फॉर लोकल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और वोकल फॉर लोकल के लिए हम लोगों ने बड़ा छोटा सा कॉन्सेप्ट शुरू किया। हमें लगा कि मार्केट को ब्रांड नहीं दे पाएंगे, ऑर्गेनिक किसान अडॉप्ट नहीं करना चाहता है, कॉस्ट ऑफ कल्टिवेशन हाई हो रहा है, बहुत तरीके के प्रोपेगेंडाज मार्केट में। हमने छोटा सा एक टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ किया जिसको कहते हैं जुगाड़ टेक्नोलॉजी। हमने अपने आसपास के स्कूलों को पकड़ा, स्टैंडर्ड 5 to 12, और उनके बच्चों को जाकर के हमने ऑर्गेनिक फूड के बारे में बताया। और वहाँ पे 2 चीज़ें हमने बताई, एक आप जो खा रहे हैं उसका साइड इफेक्ट क्या होगा, एक आपके पेरेंट्स जो उगा रहे हैं उसका साइड इफेक्ट क्या है और कैसे उसको चेंज करके इकोनॉमिकल बेनिफिट्स ले सकते हैं। और बेनिफिट्स ये आया कि बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट ने अपने अपने पेरेंट्स को जो फार्मिंग करते थे उनको इन्फ्लुएंस किया और वो फार्मिंग कर रहे हैं और बहुत अच्छे इन्फ्लुएंसर हमारे बने स्टूडेंट्स। दूसरा वो अवेयर हुए फूड्स के अकॉर्डिंगली, टॉक्सिक फूड के अकॉर्डिंगली, जो कि एक मार्केट साइज को इंक्रीज करने में सपोर्ट कर रहा है। तो वोकल फॉर लोकल का इससे अच्छा एग्जांपल नहीं हो सकता कि एक 12 साल से लेकर के 20 साल का लड़का अगर ब्रांड एम्बेसडर के रूप में ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स का काम करता है तो वो बहुत बड़ा मार्केट देगा। ये थोड़ी सी मैं अपने बारे में बता दूं, फार्मरफेस ऑर्गेनिक टेक्नोलॉजी एंड रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट बेसिकली सिवान बिहार में अवस्थित है और हम लोग ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग पे रिसर्च एक्टिविटी एंड फार्मर सपोर्ट के लिए काम करते हैं, फार्मर्स को ट्रेनिंग के लिए काम करते हैं और उनके प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट देने का काम करते हैं। हमारा एक ही बेस फोकस है कि क्वालिटी टेक्नोलॉजी को डेवलप करें फॉर ऑर्गेनिक प्रैक्टिस, जो प्राइस को लेस करे, कॉस्ट ऑफ कल्टीवेशन को लेस करे और एडवांस रिजल्ट लेकर के आए। और हमने यही किया है। जहाँ पे हमारे यहाँ हॉर्टिकल्चर क्रॉप में कॉस्ट ऑफ कल्टीवेशन पर एकड़ की मैं बात करूँ, बिहार के अंदर में जो कॉस्टिंग आती है 8 से 15 हज़ार रुपये पर एकड़ की कॉस्टिंग है, उसको हम लोगों ने रिड्यूस करके 3500 तक कर दिया अभी। और अभी और भी कोशिश है हमारी कि हम उसको और रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं। ये मैंने भी बताया कैंपेनिंग जो हम लोग करते हैं, स्टूडेंट्स को सबसे ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट जो हमारे मेजर कस्टमर है उनको अगर अवेयर कर दिए, वो उनको अपने इन्फ्लुएंसर को अवेयर कर दिए, उनको प्रैक्टिसेस बता दिए, तो बहुत आसानी से चीज़ें कनेक्ट होती हैं और फार्मर्स हमसे जुड़ते भी हैं, कंज्यूमर भी हमसे जुड़ते हैं। फार्मर्स के लिए भी कैंपेन्स रेगुलरली हमारी टीम जो है करती रहती है। नो डाउट हम लोग ग्राउंड पे जा करके क्रॉप डायग्नोसिस करके उसके प्रॉब्लम को आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं, साइंटिफिक सॉल्यूशंस बताते हैं, ऑर्गेनिक सॉल्यूशंस बताते हैं, जिसके वजह से फार्मर को क्या चाहिए। सर आप कितना भी ऑर्गेनिक टेक्नोलॉजी लेके जाओ, सर्टिफिकेशन सब्सिडी लेके जाओ, उसका एक ही सवाल है, मेरा प्रोडक्शन आएगा? उसका पहला सवाल यही है। और प्रोडक्शन नहीं आएगा तो मैं रिस्क लेने को तैयार नहीं हूँ। जब उसको प्रॉब्लम आती है फील्ड पे, जब उसको बीमारी लगती है, उसके खेत में वायरस लगता है, उसके खेत में पेस्टिसाइड्स पेस्ट लग रहे हैं, इंसेक्ट्स लग रहे हैं, और उसका इमीडिएट सॉल्यूशन नहीं मिलता, तो फार्मर ना चाहते हुए भी, जानते हुए भी केमिकल की तरफ मूव करता है। वहीं पे फार्मर फेस हम लोग क्या करते हैं, उसको ऐसे टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइड करते हैं कि हर तरीके के प्रॉब्लम्स, चाहे वो वायरल हो, बैक्टीरियल हो, फंगल हो, इमीडिएट लेवल पे फार्मर अपने यहाँ बना करके, अपने घर में तैयार करके उस डिजीज से, उस प्रॉब्लम से बाहर निकल सकता है और इकोनॉमिकल सेविंग के साथ साथ ग्रोथ ले सकता है। तो बहुत आसानी से फार्मर कनेक्ट भी होते हैं। ये हमारे कुछ पेपर कटिंग्स हैं जो हम लोग प्रोग्राम्स रन करते रहे हैं। 2 मिनट। जो ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं हमारे, 2 इंपॉर्टेंट ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं। 1 इंडिया 1 प्राइस ऑफ वेजिटेबल, जिस पे हम काम कर रहे हैं। सेकंड जो हमारा है ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्शन का, और यूथ को मैक्सिमम एम्प्लॉयमेंट देने का, जिस पे हम काम कर रहे हैं, और नो डाउट काफ़ी टाइम से कर रहे हैं।
मोहन जी, जस्ट हरी अप प्लीज। क्विक।
हमारे वर्किंग प्रोसेस है फार्मर सिलेक्शन, उनके खेतों का सिलेक्शन, सॉइल टेस्टिंग, फिर उनके लिए क्रॉप प्लान करते हैं, फिर उनको इनपुट, देन आफ्टर टेक्निकल सपोर्ट, देन आफ्टर उनका पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट के लिए उनकी सपोर्ट रहते हैं, और जो प्रोड्यूस होता है उसको बाई बैक करके खुद ही रिटेल कर देते हैं। तो एक मार्केट, एक A to Z का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, हम यहाँ पे उन्हें प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं। ये हमारे फंक्शंस हैं, एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर एवरीवन।
Thanks Mohan ji for the passionate talk you have delivered, and some very effective strategies like touching the schools, okay, for propagating the organic farming and healthy food. Thanks also for touching the right of having a healthy food. Thank you very much. Shall we will move on to the next speaker, Dr. Ramanjaneyulu. Dr. Ramanjaneyulu, Executive Director of Center for Sustainable Agriculture. Now it is a transition from organic farming to natural farming. Please, Dr. Ramanjaneyulu.
Thanks for the invite, Bhavani, and good morning all. Earlier speakers have set the tone, so I don't get into too many details, but briefly I'll get into what we are trying to do and all. So CSA, we are a 20 years old organization working across the country. Large part of our work is in Andhra, Telangana, Maharashtra. We work directly with about 50,000 farmers, and we also work with many state governments in scaling up organic and natural farming. Our focus is largely focusing on a landscape areas. So block levels, district level, village level kind of thing. We were associated with the transition in Sikkim. Recently we declared Dantewada district of Chhattisgarh as organic, one entire fully district. We are now focusing on few more districts, and tomorrow the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh is also going to declare his constituency going towards organic in the next 5 years. So we are associated with such large scale landscape transitions. And we also work with farmers in terms of organizing FPOs. We promoted 66 FPOs and we support another 150. So marketing is also another area where we work on. And we are also a PGS Regional Council certification agency. So we do nearly 3 lakh acres in the country. So among the 18 lakh hectares, 3 lakh acres is done by CSA. So it's a large part of the organic certification also. So across the supply chain in the organic production, we have the experience. And I'm an agriculture graduate. I studied agriculture for 10 years, and then I worked with ICR, so I also have certain experience on production side. So basically trying to put you what is happening in organic sector, and then what we need to do so that we can scale up. There's a great potential, but where we got stuck, I think that's something we need to understand. So these are our stores. Sahaja Aharam is our brand where we sell organic produce directly to the consumers. This is our new initiative called Krishna Sudha Academy for Agroecology. This is near Vijayawada, which is a 40 acres campus, first of its kind in India, where we have research and training courses run on organic and natural farming with long-term experiments as well. Many speakers talked about the toxic effects of pesticides, but we also need to understand what is happening with soil health and its impact on food. All the nutrients we talk about in food actually comes from the soil. the soil doesn't have nutrients, your food doesn't have that nutrients. If you map the anemia in the country, anemia is predominant, endemic in areas where soils are iron deficient. So if the soils are deficient, your food is deficient, and people are also deficient. So that's something we need to figure out. So the soil health data shows that large part of the country we are losing the soil. How do we address that is something which is very important. Don't look at organic only as a premium market way of production. We need to look at how do we actually make the shift to make our soils, which is the only source of nutrients in this world. All the nutrients, whatever we want to have in our food, actually comes from soil. If the soil is not healthy, we are not going to have. We have done some couple of studies, I'll also show you. National Institute of Nutrition does nutrient analysis. The data of the last 30 years shows that nearly 20 to 30% reduction in the nutrients in the same food. So palak today is less nutritious than 30 years back. So you're eating a palak which is less nutrient. You think it has certain vitamins and minerals, it is not having, because the soils in which it is grown is not having. I think this is something which we all need to be worried about. Also, there is a recent study by ICR, which is a very significant study which shows even if your soil has, your varieties are unable to take. There is a nutrient drain. In the last 50 years, they show that nearly 20 to 30% reduction in the minerals in the some of the food grains. And this is happening because they are not bred and maintained properly. So it's also important to have a good quality seeds so that we can have better nutrition. Also what is happening is that we lose soil significantly because of the erosion. 16 tons of soil per hectare is the loss we are making every year. It takes 500 years to farm 1 inch of soil, and we are losing it in 10 years. So imagine what we are trying to do. We are building the soil, but we are losing it. We are losing it significantly. So all these are the concerns we all need to have. It's not just about growing organic for the market. This is a soil organic carbon data. Earlier speakers have touched about, but I'll just present why actually farmers are not shifting. Let's talk about that. Farmers are not shifting because if you are using chemical fertilizers, per bag you are giving them 2,800 rupees subsidy, but if somebody has to make a shift, they have to put on from their own pocket. A ton of fertilizer today is 47,000 rupees subsidy. A ton of compost I have to make, I have to spend my own time and then my own energy and then do it. On the top of that, I need to get a certificate saying I followed all these practices. And then so my cost is increasing. How do you reduce the cost? I think unless we talk about it, how do we reduce the cost and how do we support that? Unless we talk about it, it's not going to work. I think that's a very important issue. The chemical fertilizer subsidy, earlier speakers have mentioned, today we are about 2.25 lakh crores, and probably this year with inflation, etc., it's going to touch nearly 3.5 lakh crores kind of thing. How are we going to deal with that if it is going to grow like that? Second, there is also a declining crop response ratio. This is ICR's own data. This is ICR's own data. In 1960s, for every kg of fertilizer, if it is giving about 13 kg grains, today it is giving just about 2.5 to 3 kg. So you are also have to put in more of fertilizer to get the same level of yield. And this response ratio coming down is not because fertilizers are losing its effectiveness, it is because soil is losing its effectiveness. There is no organic matter in the soil. Unless you add organic matter, there is no way even your chemicals are going to work. So I think as a country, we need to have a focus on how do we increase soil organic matter. That should be the greater focus, within which organic can be small component. So even if conventional agriculture has to grow, you need to have soil organic matter increase. I think that is something we need to look at. So how do we go about? There are a number of practices, etc. I'm not going to talk about the practices, but I think dealing with individual farmers, I think that was the problem. That's where actually certification became expensive. That's where actually the trust of certification also is lost. So can we focus on the landscape areas? We have so many FPOs, so many SIGs. Can we focus on large areas so that it becomes easy for the people to make the transition? So contiguous areas, I think, is something which we need to focus on. Second, always there is an incremental transition which will happen. So we need to look at a transition at the food system level. So the whole debate about organic, natural, or conventional agriculture, can we put it aside and then say there are problems with the chemicals. So how do we reduce it? See, if ICR is not convinced about organic, let them do INM, IPM, reduce the pesticide use by 50%. Have a target about reducing the chemicals. I think that will help. So farmers may move towards good agriculture practices, then some people may move into organic or natural farming, some may move into the completely regenerative agriculture. So the transition process, let's leave it to the farmers. But the supporting agency should focus on largely reducing the chemical use in agriculture. Otherwise, we will see we announce a large program dealing with about 10 lakh acres, 20 lakh acres with organic and natural farming, but rest of the people are supported for chemicals, and so that will continue. So the transitions will get suffer. Second, expecting that farmers will change and then without changing the policies and markets is also not going to work. We need to also focus on transition at these two levels. In India, I would say there are three different kinds of situations. One, where input use is very low, output is also low, environmental impact is also low. This is the areas where organic farming can bring in, organic or natural farming can bring in support to increase the productivities, increase the cropping intensity kind of thing. So Sikkim, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, many other areas. There is a second category where we have high input use, but output is low, cost of cultivation is very high. 60% of India falls in this category. We use so much fertilizer, yields are low. We use so much pesticides, pests are still a problem. So these areas we need to focus very differently because these are all commercial crop areas. The one successes which we got in Sikkim or Chhattisgarh will not be applicable to these areas. So we need to do it slightly different. Similarly, there is a third category where there is a high input, high output and high environmental impacts, areas like Punjab, Andhra Pradesh and many others. These areas transition will not be the same way like it has been done in other areas because farmers doesn't find any incentive to make a transition because all incentives are tried for using chemicals and high use of water. So rice is supported, we ask farmers to do away with rice. Chemical fertilizers are supported, we ask them to make a transition, which is not going to happen. So these transition pathways have to be evolved. I think that is something which is very, very critical. So again, we need to put an end to the debate on whether organic is right or natural farming is right. Essentially, if you put all the models in the world, organic farming, natural farming, regenerative agriculture, permaculture, biodynamic agriculture, any of these things, all talks about just 4 practices. One, conserve your soil, don't till much. As long as you disturb your soil is going to get deteriorated. So don't till much. Second, increase the cropping intensity as much as possible, crop rotation, intercrops or grow multiple crops. As many crops you grow in a farm, it is better. Third, have efficient water budgeting, have efficient moisture conservation. That's the third. Fourth, have good seed which is adapted to your local conditions. These are the only 4 principles. Talk about anything like religion, agriculture is also caught in identity. Natural farming people start quarreling with organic farming, organic people doesn't like natural conventional agriculture, and PGS certification fights with NPOP certification, NPOP doesn't want PGS. So it doesn't work like that. Can we bring all of them together and find out a kind of working togetherness? I think that's what will solve the problem. So in India, area is growing significantly. This is some numbers which are available online, so you can check the numbers. I'm not going into the details, but the increase in area will not help farmers unless there is a good market. And market also can only happen if we create an ecosystem for making a transition. Green revolution didn't happen on its own. It happened because there was a NABARD created, there was a CACP created, there was a procurement system created, there was a subsidy created. So all these contributed. Seed corporation was created. All these contributed for making a transition towards green revolution. So if you are now talking about making a transition towards organic natural farming, how do we create such ecosystem is important. In this ecosystem, I think several rural enterprises can come in. I think there's several opportunities for the rural enterprises to come in a situation today. There's a large focus on urban startups. Why are we not focusing on rural enterprises? Why are we focusing only on the unique enterprises as if they will get some IP and then get a venture capital, etc.? A lot of mass enterprises in the rural areas can create opportunities for the people. I think that's something which we need to bring back. I think Gramin Bharat Mahotsav would be very good opportunity to create like this. So you have shown it is possible. So can we look at how many rural enterprises can come in as an ecosystem which can help farmers to make the transition? And opportunities exist significantly. In the organic certification, as ma'am has told and others have presented, there are two kinds of systems. But my suggestion would be, can we have easy transition from one system to another? Which is now going to be part of the new certification standards, I suppose. I think that's something which is important. From PGS, if I can move into NPOP easily, instead of waiting for another 2 years, that will be very helpful. Second, very important is NPOP only is accepted for exports because it is notified under FTDR. Probably PGS also can be notified under FTDR. It becomes much easier if it can be notified, because large part of the food which we export into the international market, we are selling it to Indians living there. It's not the, say if I'm selling in US, it's not the Americans buying it, it's the Indian Americans who are buying it. So we can create a new opportunity, because everywhere we look at all the, say rice for example, it's even very state specific. The Sona Masuri which is sold from Andhra Pradesh is bought by either Andhra or Karnataka people. Odisha people don't buy even if they are living in US. So it's so specific, food is so specific. So we can actually look at very differently our food markets rather than having this kind of artificial divide. Third, any certification has to be focused on the consumers and market. Unfortunately, PGS is focused more on farmers, not so much as a campaign with the consumers and retailers. EPIDA did a very good job of creating opportunity for NPOP certification, because their focus is not so much on engaging with farmers, large focus is on engaging with the traders and markets. I think PGS also can become like that if such engagement can happen. Probably if NCONF and NABARD can come together and create that kind of opportunity, so that farmers can sell directly. I think that's something which is a very, very interesting system we can look at. So where do we stand? I think numbers are all given earlier, so I won't get into the numbers. One important thing we need to look at is India has the largest area and the largest number of farmers in organic. I think that is something we need to remember, because though Australia is at 53 million hectares, it is all grazing lands basically. It's not the food crops as such. So if you look at food crops, I think India stands largely number one. So we need to focus on that. We will have a large of opportunity, and again we are selling only to our people all over the world. So from that point, if you can create a business model, it will be very good. In the marketing, I'll share some of our experiences in marketing. Like we are talking about alternatives in production, we need to think about alternatives in market also. Within the existing market, farmers are not getting better price, either in conventional or in organic also. So basically, the middlemen and the traders are taking away the major chunk of the benefit. So how do we work on it? Something which is very important. So basically in the market, food grains market, the problem is that the surplus is very little, and that has to be shared between many people. So how do we create more value and also create, share the value is something we need to figure out. Also, focusing only on the retail market is very, I don't think it will work for the farmers today, because the retail market, if you look at in India, 55 lakh crores is the total retail market in the country. And just about 6.3 is the organized retail. 92% is the Kirana stores. Unorganized Kirana stores occupy the large chunk. And if you look at the bulk consumers, 35 to 40% is a good market. So FPOs can directly sell to them. So we can actually figure out new ways of dealing with this. Yeah, certification I'm not getting into. So the way we deal with this, say, we have organic retail markets, like I mentioned earlier. Say vegetables, when we procure everything. we grade them. A grade, B grade goes into the retail market. C grade, D grade gets into pulping, drying or value addition. C grade, B grade will get into the value addition. That's how we need to do the entire value for the product. Otherwise it doesn't work. That's what Amul taught us. We get the milk, do as much value addition as possible and then supply. Just selling milk will not would have helped the farmers. So likewise, I think in the vegetables, grains, we need to do that. And we try to set up food processing units, local, between 10-15 FPOs together, do value addition and do retailing. And we also do direct farmers market where farmers can sell directly. Best way is the farmers market where farmers can sell directly, where farmers can get better share in the consumer's price. But volumes will be lower, volumes may not move. So then the retail stores. So this is a supply chain we have. And few innovations we tried. One is the selling to temples. India has nearly 52 lakh temples which serve prasad. We are not seeing it as an opportunity. So Andhra Pradesh, with Andhra Pradesh government, we started tying up with the Tirumala temple, which is the largest temple in the country. Last year we supplied nearly 30,000 tons of food grains. By next year we are expecting to reach much larger area. In Chittoor now, that's the focus side, like I mentioned, one entire constituency, Chief Minister is trying to make it organic. So there's a lot of opportunities exist if we focus on the non-conventional markets, I would say. We think they are not market, but they are markets. See, for farmers, once they sell, whatever the price they get is the price. Wherever it is sold doesn't matter. Whether I sell in America or I sell in local. Even if we talk about exports, we are selling to the exporters. We are not exporting, right? We are selling to some exporters. So the price we get is what is available in the local market. Our consumers are Indians. When we talk about export market, our buyers are the exporters who buy local, so they also always compare with the local market price. So we need to figure out where our opportunities lies. So like this, there could be many other things. In Chhattisgarh, we are doing the midday meal, and even PDS now is converted into organic in Chhattisgarh. So a lot of opportunities exist if the state can look at it more comprehensively. And lastly, the price into yield being the income of farmers is not also going to work, because the price will never increase beyond a point and the yield also will not increase beyond a point. We need to figure out new ways of supporting that. So that's where actually ecosystem services comes into picture. Carbon financing is just one, but there could be many others. See, somebody conserving water should be compensated for that. Today we are giving free power, farmers can use as much water as possible. Can we create an opportunity? If you are reducing your water use, you will get better support. If you are increasing your soil organic matter, you will get a better support. I think that's something which is very, very important. Some steps Government of India has taken already in terms of PM Pranam, in terms of green credits, but how do we roll it out is something we need to figure out. And all that can be tied up to the certification system. So here already verified data is available so that you can say how it is working and who need to be supported. I think that is something which is important. So we tried in the last few years some studies in Andhra Pradesh where we looked at switching towards organic and natural farming. Nearly 50% emissions can be reduced. 50% emissions can be reduced across the crops. And soil organic carbon, 0.1% increase in soil organic carbon reduces nearly 3 tons of carbon dioxide. So it will be about 3 tons is about 3 credits. And today it's somewhere around $10 per credit. So farmers may get about 3 credits, so which means around $30 they may get. And that itself may not be an incentive. But if that itself may not be incentive for farmers, right? $30 may not be an incentive. But if you put all these things together, 2,500, 2,600 which comes in is enough for supporting the farmers to make the transition. Any of the large programs in this country is not spending 2,500 on every farmer per year. So this can help to move the programs forward and also get better support to the farmers. And if the same thing can be tied up in terms of the making support systems, particularly the subsidies as equivalent ones. Say if I am growing rice, if I am getting something conventionally, if I can get the same support if I am growing organically, I think most farmers will shift. The undue gap between the two, I think, has to go. So there we studied a lot of other opportunities which are there in terms of carbon financing by switching over to the natural farming, organic farming. Just to end, I'll summarize 2-3 important issues which we need to look at. One, on the production, if there has to be transition, we need to have a good knowledge-based extension. Today what we have is only a motivation speeches considered as trainings, which is something wrong. I think we need to figure out how a good knowledge-based extension system can be built. Farmers expecting that everyone makes their own inputs is not going to work. We need to have local production and distribution of input systems. That will work a lot of opportunity for the rural enterprises. Market, focus on domestic markets, strengthen the domestic market. Then you can look at if there are markets externally, we can focus on that. Third, build the credibility. Today, if there is no credibility between PGS and NPOP, if there is no credibility on the certification agencies, there is something wrong with all of us. So how do we build credibility? Because certification is about credibility. So how do we build credibility on the system? How do we all put effort on that is something which is important. Also, how do we dialogue with the consumers is also something which is very, very important. Third, since we have anyway data management happening with organic and natural farming in the form of certification, can we put the data for multiple uses? So for example, there is a question always saying, can organic feed the world, right? Today we have about 55 lakh hectares under organic farming in the country with certification. Why are we not using that data to analyze and say 55 lakh hectares data is saying that this is the output which we are getting? Isn't it? So it's a verified data. If some more data sets have to be collected, we can always collect. So can we look at this as a integrated data management system? So market based, first market, if we are using that, there's only one part of it. We are using it for ecosystem services, we are using for impact assessment. If we can do that, I think data can be put to multi-use. It becomes like an agri-stack. So basically that's the approach we should take. So with this, lastly, I think your idea of engaging with schools is very important. We tried with that, and we are running courses for school children. So we engage with the teachers. We tried to integrate organic and natural farming, natural resource management into the regular course curriculum instead of having a separate courses. Say instead of in mathematics, instead of learning about how two trains are running at such speed and then what is the difference, we talk about if 1 acre, if you have to grow mango, how many saplings you require, or if you want to use a drip irrigation system, what is the power of a pump you require, kind of thing. So we can make changes in the regular curriculum so that most children can learn, because 60% of students drop out after 10th and then go back to farming in this country, and they don't learn anything about agriculture for the first 10 years. So they are the ones who are falling in the traps of modern agriculture. In the name of modern agriculture, there will be always a YouTuber saying somebody earned 2 crore rupees from 1 acre. Somebody will say something growing some vegetable, they got something. You might have seen 2 crore rupees, 2 lakh rupees per kg of mango. So somebody will say that everybody is trying to go into that, and then these children educated, they feel they are educated by, so they know more than their parents, so they are taking the risk. Unknown risks are the dangerous thing. We need to have a more risks known, taken. So that's what requires a very good knowledge management system and a good training system. That's what will solve the problem. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Ramanjaneyulu, for bringing out why we need to switch, why need to switch to organic or natural farming, and also how the transition can be more effective. Thank you so much. My screen in front of me says time is up, and therefore I refrain from raising my own queries to the panel, esteemed panel members. We can take few questions, maybe 3 or 4 from the audience if you have. Okay? Right? Anybody? I mean, because in yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, sir. It was a very, very interesting panel. I have a comment and a question, actually. My comment was regarding what Dr. Prashant and Ramanjaneyulu, sir, both mentioned about carbon finance. So carbon finance is available not just for agroforestry, sir, agriculture land management एक मेथडोलॉजी होती है उसके लिए भी मिलता है, जिससे सॉइल ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन चेंज एंड फर्टिलाइज़र रिडक्शन दोनों के लिए कार्बन फाइनेंस होता है. उसके बारे में हम बाद में बात कर सकते हैं अगर आपके पास थोड़ा टाइम हो. And I think, sir, what you mentioned about different incentive-based mechanisms that can be employed, whether it's a water-based PES or a biodiversity credit or something like that is very interesting, and would love to talk to you as well about that afterwards. It's something that we are also exploring. My question was in general to the panel, if whoever would like to answer, about the affordability of organic produce. हमने बात करी है कि सबको होना चाहिए, हम सबके लिए ज़रूरी है कि हम पॉइजनस खाना ना खाएं, बट अभी भी अगर हम मार्केट में देखें ऑर्गेनिक प्रोड्यूस का प्राइस काफ़ी ज़्यादा है, तो वो हम कैसे एड्रेस कर रहे हैं या कैसे एड्रेस कर सकते हैं?
See, today the cost of organic produce is high, not because farmers are getting better price. It is because of the way market is organized. See, the traders have to buy from several people, distant market, who are very distributed, and also sell to people, consumers who are also very distributed. That's where actually the lot of cost goes into the logistics part of it. So if we can avoid that, I think it will be affordable to the farmers. At the farmers level, on average, farmers gets about 5%, max 5%. 5% if farmers can get, it's a very good price, additional price. That's what is at the farmers level. Consumer level, it is happening because of the way it is marketed. So we need to figure out innovations in the market. This is one thing I would say. Second is because we sell directly in the Hyderabad market, we have 15% on average, 15% additional price than the market price, and we are able to sell it. And we are able to give nearly 25 to 30% better price than the local market price. The way we operate is 50% of consumer price has to go to the producer. So in the within 50%, how do we actually organize the market is the innovation we need to look at. Second, certification costs. Earlier also this cost came up, that how do we afford certification. In Andhra Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, where we do it on a large scale, we are doing certification at 350 rupees per hectare. 350 rupees per hectare. I'm saying it is quite possible to bring down the costs if we can have a better planning and also look at organizing it together. Say if I have only one farmer here, second farmer somewhere else, then establishing credibility is also very difficult. So these are all about organizing. It's not something to do with the technology. So in the organizing, how do we do is something which is important. Pricing and affordability comes from there is what I feel. Second, simple thing like if I can sell without packing, I can reduce the cost by 15%. 15%. My just a plastic cover costs about 10 rupees and about GST is about 5%. 15 rupees there itself, I'm spending more. Leave aside certification costs. So innovations in marketing are very much required.
Adding to this, I may continue. See, from the consumer perspective, it is high affordability. And from the farmer's perspective, it is a gap at the rate at which he is selling and the rate at which consumer is purchasing. That gap is high. Okay, maybe that gap can be reduced if we introduce a bit of a near farm infrastructure for primary processing itself. It is learned through several studies that primary processing at the farmer, maybe an FPO can come into picture, that would itself increase the realization of price by at least 15-20%, especially in perishables. Yeah.
Hello, sir. So, my name is Indira Reddy. I am from Telangana Behab Society. This question is for all natural farming. We talk about natural farming, but since past 50-60 years, we have been using pesticides and we have lost all the honeybees. So how are we integrating honeybees in natural farming? I would like to know, sir, because we are giving trainings and we are deploying, and honeybees have become the part of agriculture input. So how are we integrating, how are we taking this into the to farmers? I would like to know.
Maybe Dr. Prashant, you would like to take?
So we are training our farmers wherever we are working. We are trying to impart the training to the farmers so that they can increase the pollinators, because that will help in pollination also. Particularly in West Bengal, when we have seen the vegetable yields are going down because of the pollinators going down. So I think that's across the country, that's the experience. So we need to figure out how these can be brought back. So how this can be integrated, because earlier the beekeeping with agriculture was not possible because of the high chemical use. So now getting back bees into the particularly the vegetables and fruits orchards, and then looking at how they can be integrated is very important. I certainly endorse you what you are saying.
Exactly, sir. So because in MIDH also there's 40% subsidy, so every farmer can avail this. And when we start natural farming, it is recommended that whenever it is in the flowering stage, to deploy 1 or 2 beehives per acre. It's become mandatory, and that we have seen the difference in Telangana in some areas where we do keep the bees. So this is a very important thing, to start natural farming with beekeeping. So bees are not separate, so that has to be integrated, and we have to keep 1 beehive when we start natural farming. That's my input, and that is my observation in past 2 years. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Myself Rahul. Like my question is like when we have ICAR, one of the largest body in the world with more scientists and all this, but why do they fail in addressing the extension part? I mean, most of the agriculture officers or AEOs, I'm a biofarmer. I started farming naturally from the past 6 months. So to get about the information regarding the natural farming or the bio inputs which needed, I mean for the soil health, I think most of the agri extension officers or the agriculture officers are not focusing on it. Is there any policy level changes that has to be made? The second question is like I'm a small, like me, there are many small and marginal farmers in the country. Why do they think big? Like when they are looking at their 5 acres or 2 acres or this much, why do they think big? Like, is the society did it like when we are using it for 2 acres or 3 acres, they are thinking of buying these tractors, big implements. I mean, the implements which we use for the small and marginal farmers are not accessible. I mean to say is like in the package of practices which government is supplying, I mean they are just subsidizing the urea and the potassium or what are the DAP what they are doing, but what about the agricultural implements? Because farmers need to, as a small and marginal farmer, their focus is on 5 acres or below that, as most of the country has small and marginal farms. So are there any specific focus on the agricultural implements for the small and marginal farmers in the policy level? Thank you, sir.
Please.
So 2 things which you have raised. One is the challenge with extension. Now, I mean, looking at India, you have close to about, the figures range between 12 to 14 crore farmers. And almost 90% are small and marginal farmers. So with a country of this size, with this number and with this variety, it is with their different stages of development, extension will always be a challenge. And this extension is basically carried out not only by ICR, I mean the kind of setup which you have through Krishi Vigyan Kendras almost in each district of the country, and agriculture extension through Atma. The system is there, but there are challenges in reaching out. There are challenges in covering each and every farmer. Having said that, look at where we were and where we have come. I mean, food security in a country like India is something which we have achieved, and we are proud of that. And today, our exports are also growing. So, I think one basic opportunity today is technology. The more we use technology, the various media sources which are available to us today, and the more farmers get used to technology, I think they can break this barrier of knowledge and acceptance. That is something which is there. The second question which you asked is about implements. Now, there are schemes like you have agri-business clinics and you have centers where they have these tools which basically were meant to have modern equipment, modern machinery, which can be rented out to farmers, because you cannot expect each farmer to afford and have all the modern machinery. So that is there. There are many centers there, but then their usage and utilization is something which is still something which we are not optimizing it. I think a Uber or a Ola based solution where you have these available and farmers can rent them, and it is available to them at a low cost, and it's timely available to them whenever it is required. If that kind of an integrator comes up and people are working on that kind of a solution, that should not only be for input supply, that can also be for marketing. Why should individual farmers go to the market? Why can't they aggregate and go to the market? And that reduces their costs. So if people are working on such solutions, and there are many startups which are working on those solutions, I'm sure in a few years you will see that scale.
Excuse me, I think the next panel is starting. Yeah, last.
Natural farming and organic farming. During the farmer level, it is recommended IoT, integrated pest practices management, IoT devices, one is there, and solar light traps and yellow and blue sticky traps is recommended to organic farming and natural farming. So we are already implemented in some little farmers level. Our organization is promoted. It is recommended it or not. That's why I am asking.
Good.
Of course, you can use. There's nothing any bar on that. See, it's a very artificial divide. That's what I was trying to say, saying all inputs have to be made by farmers themselves. No purchased input should be used. I think that's a very artificial divide today going on in the name of organic and natural farming. See, whatever works for farmers, they must be in a position to do it, whatever they can afford. If they're not affordable, then they don't use it. So I think that's what I would say. Why should we dictate everything to the farmers? Broadly, we should have a guidelines, basically say don't use these things because these are harmful to the environment or harmful to you. I think that's what we should say. The rest of it, we should leave it to the choice of the farmers.
So thanks. I would request my colleague to take over this forward.
महिलाओं और सज्जनों, आज की चर्चा बेहद ज्ञानपूर्ण और प्रेरणादायक रही है. Each panelist has brought forward insightful perspectives scaling organic agriculture, from certification to market linkages, from branding to sustainable practices. This dialogue has been a roadmap for growth. Before we move further, all the audience members are requested to scan the QR codes to their left, right, and the same would be displayed on the screen as well. By doing so, you can give us your valuable feedback. Also, there are QR codes displayed across the venue. By doing so, you can tell us how you feel about the overall event in general, and the inquisitive among you can take part in a quiz, ग्रामीण भारत को जानो. अब समय आ गया है कि हम अपने सभी माननीय स्पीकर्स और पैनलिस्ट्स को एक छोटी सी भेंट के रूप में अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करें. May I now request Dr. A.K. Sood, Deputy Managing Director, NABARD, to kindly come on stage and present a memento to Shri Faiz Ahmed Kidwai. Please join me in applauding our distinguished keynote speaker as he receives his token of appreciation. I now request our esteemed moderator, Dr. Shankar, to present mementos to our eminent panelists. Dr. G.V. Ramanjaneyulu, जोरदार तालियां हमारे माननीय पैनलिस्ट के लिए। Dr. Saraswati Bose, let's hear it for Dr. Bose. Dr. Prashant Naikwadi, a big round of applause, please. Shri Mohan Murari Singh, ये हमारे प्रतिष्ठित पैनलिस्ट को ताली सम्मान। अब मैं हमारे सभी स्पीकर्स, पैनलिस्ट और मॉडरेटर से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि वे एक फोटो के लिए मंच पर आगे आएं। Let us commemorate this moment with a group photograph for this meaningful occasion. In closing, I extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you, eminent speakers, our distinguished moderator, and our patient audience for making this event a grand success. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. I would like to inform all of you that another interesting panel discussion on the topic Empowering Cooperatives for a Viksit Bharat would commence at 2 p.m. in this hall itself. Do join in to witness the enriching discussion. Thank you.